And welcome back. This is SSA, the Fall Open Day 2, quarterfinal day. This all started a week ago. 42 teams in qualifiers. 16 teams came out of those qualifiers to play last night in the Swiss round. A grueling Swiss round for some players. And then 8 of those were eliminated. 8 of them come forward today. 4 of them will go forward to tomorrow. 4 will end their tournament run in this first regional, the Fall Open today. Either way, it's going to be mucho grande exciting. And with me, Greybeard, and today joined for the first time by Jota, and welcoming back Pyro. Jota, famous for Stats Corner, now going to be doing some desk work and some casting work. How are ya?
I'm doing great. Been deprived of the numbers for far too long. I may be on a test, don't worry. I will just be sprinkling the stats through to make sure that everyone gets their fix of Stats Corner.
Well, that is good to know. And hopefully your fix of demolitions. And Pyro back for day 2. And the exciting thing for you from the start, you've had a thing for Reformed. You're going to get to cast them first out the gate shortly.
Ooh, baby, listen, I am excited that Reformed made it to the top 8, okay? Because we had some surprises yesterday. I'm looking at the top 8 right now. I'm not seeing Apex Gaming for one reason or another. They couldn't show up for that round 5 against Orient. But we get Orient Esports in the top 8. That's good. But as you said, Greybeard, Reformed first game against ATK, who they haven't done exceptionally well against, and as of late, we'll get to talk about that more, but day 2, Greybeard, I'm excited.
As well, you should be, and maybe let's take a moment to talk about some of the surprises, the upsets. Jota, I'm going to ask you about it, because we had the Bro team, which fell short. They went 5 rounds in Swiss, and lost in a best of 5. So many best of 5s. They're like the marathon team. But why I'm interested in your thoughts on it is because headlined by Yopego, former DNMK from last season, someone you spoke about quite a bit in that stats corner, yet here they are not showing up on day 2.
Yeah, he was always a big point scorer, and he really stacked up in the saves department as well, sort of playing that anchor role on DNMK. I do think that it will be a big disappointment for him to miss out on top 8. The team overall will be disappointed, I'm sure, but for him specifically, he is used to fighting up in the top 4, playing for those medal spots. So not making top 8 will be a bit of a reality hit for him coming out of that one. I'm not convinced. I'm not certain where that's gone wrong, but I'm not convinced it's going to be a long-term issue for them. I'd be surprised if they're kept out of the top 8 for long.
Well, I think there's a few issues there. One of them being that they're almost a pickup team, coming together, I think, sort of 7, 8, 9 days before the start of qualifiers, like sort of on the, very close to the end of roster lock. So maybe you're going to need some time to get that synergy as a team, having not worked together before. And Yopega as a personality might be difficult to kind of to get that synergy going, but I've no doubt they will be back. And then Pyro, you mentioned Apex, and they fell also in round 5. They had a disconnect, and the sub wasn't available, so they were disqualified. But still a little surprising that they were having to fight things out in the 5th round. I mean, Apex, in my mind, they were a top 4, top 5 team last season. They shouldn't have been sort of fighting it out in the 12th round.
Oh, yeah. You look at last season, and Apex were making a case for top 3, even going the long distance in the lower bracket. That's how I remember Apex Gaming just being the demons in the lower bracket, taking out anyone else from DMNK to Digital Devils. Now we have a team that is made up of those top 5 teams in one team of Apex Gaming. I really expected a lot from them. And listen, going out in round 5 the way they did isn't up to their expectations, but it's also not terrible, okay? This first showing, this first regional of the new season is all about showing up. Sure, you have good expectations, but can you meet them? Can you express and show to people that you can earn some wins under your belt? Apex Gaming did that, so I'm excited to see them next regional.
All right, well, let's now talk about some of the teams that didn't make it through, specifically ATK and Millennial Times Gaming. ATK were out of Rocket League at the end of last season, so it was like, oh, they're no longer having a team. And then Werty is now in ATK, who was there last season, but then their coach has moved out from the Netherlands, Gizao, and then now joined by, Galaxy is sub, and Weelu from Reunion Island. And they've done remarkably well. But then Millennial Times Gaming, a little bit of an out-of-nowhere team for me, Jota.
Yeah, Millennial Times Gaming, I think that out of that invitational qualifier, I think they surprised people a bit with their results, coming as highly as they did. Certainly, I was a bit worried that could be a flash-in-the-pan score. You see some teams in other regions come in, put in a big first Swiss, and then they get to the actual region where it's not been as good. But they've proven to us already they are absolutely the real deal, aren't they?
Well, yeah, I think they're the most likely for upset is going to be coming there. But we're going to have one of those two teams, our first match of the day. Oh, we should have a look at the graphic. We're bringing you 4 quarterfinal matches. Let's go and look at the matches that are coming up. So the first one, and we'll be bringing you all of those, of course, starting with ATK Reformed. Your thoughts on that one, Jota, and a prediction if you have one.
I think currently there is no reason to doubt ATK. Every test has been put up to them. They've put up against the Orlando Pirates team. They lost, but they lost in 5. It's the closest you can get while still losing. When they last played, it was a sweep. Okay, there were lots of goals, average 6 goals per game. So I'm expecting it to be closer. I'm expecting it to be lots of action, but I'm thinking 4-1 or 4-2 to ATK.
Sure, but now Pyro, I know immediately you're a little offended there, but it has to be mentioned though that these two teams they have mixed results. They've both won the other. I think ATK has the upper hand, but that hasn't been all plain sailing. Reformed have taken them.
So I have seen some of the results, and the last 2 matches that I'm looking at, ATK swept Reform. They both both times. So we're talking about ATK really showing their dominance against that team. But guess what? Okay, guess what? 5 of those 6 games that were won by ATK were just by 1 point. And guess what? 4 of those games, no, 3 were in overtime. Okay, Reformed, they've got what it takes to keep it close. They've got what it takes to hopefully clutch it out this time. And I have Reformed, no doubt, winning this game against ATK. They're here, first regional, to show them up.
All right. Okay. So 2 days ago, if I knew this matchup was coming, I probably would have gone with Reformed quite easily. But the way ATK are performing now, it's kind of hard to bet against them. So I'm a little bit trying to sort of hedge and see where I go. But I think Reformed will come up with a way to overcome those most recent results.
Let's go.
Probably going against type, but that's
I can't believe what I'm hearing here. Unbelievable. How many more times do they have to sweep them to convince you? If ATK sweep them a 3rd time, you're gonna come on in 2 weeks' time and say, I know they've been swept 3 times, but this is the one, guys.
Every sweep just empowers Reformed more. Okay, so the more sweeps we get, the better Reformed get, and this is a match that absolutely I'm excited to get into, Greybeard.
Listen, it's the first of the quarterfinals, and after the grueling many chances of Swiss round, this is single elimination, 1 life. Go out there, perform right now, or you are done. So it is a best of 7, so there's at least some leeway there. But I'm gonna jump into the casting booth for this first one, along with Pyro J. And so Pyro, let's go do the thing. See how it all turns out.
All right. Well, bye, Joda. We'll see you next time. For now, we've got to talk ATK Reformed. Sorry, you know, she voted for ATK. It's just a Reformed crew up here. But Greybeard, you didn't sound that convinced in their win, and I think that's completely fair, right? This ATK team, when you look at them, they have some decent results. Yes, they've beaten Reformed. They've got a solid squad out of Wordy, especially a player we're going to be focused on, Weelu from Ice Esports last season. It makes a really good combination for a team. The only reason I have hesitations about this team, Greybeard, is their loss record. Okay, losses to White Rabbit Gaming, losses to Millennial Times Gaming, loss to Orlando Pirates. These are all teams that they're trying to contend that number 2 spot from and just haven't beat.
Yes. I think that's a very, very solid point. They're a good team, a great team, probably beating anything up to the top 4, and then it becomes heavy weather. And as you quite rightly point out, if they want to contend for a number 2 spot up there, they're going to have to start challenging the top of that table. And they've got the chance now. ATK, wow, one of the surprise teams so far. And away we go. Game number 1. Let's go, Commandos. It's howling time. The battle starts now. Did I glimpse? I didn't see a scarab, did I? No, I didn't.
Oh, God. Don't scare me like that, Greybeard. Come on now. I see something a little wild on the field. Maybe we'll get a player cam.
It's an Esper. It's an Esper.
It's an Esper. Esper with the goal. Archeon. He says, yes, I've got an interesting car. And let me show you on the goal replay as well.
And as it was one of the best casting intros ever. We spoke about the car appeared in screen, shot and took a goal. Archeon gets the Reformed team up front early on, 20 seconds in.
Unbelievable. And you know what? Maybe our predictions have fueled this team to get themselves a good start. It's exactly what they could be asking for going up against ATK in this best of 7. But it's so important to mention that, Greybeard, best of 7. Wow, we have seen 3-game sweeps against Reform from ATK. Those are quick series. In this best of 7, these teams need to be ready to go for the long haul.
Yeah, it is that. It's the sort of mini version of that long Swiss round, isn't it? It's, by the end of last night, I think everybody was tired. The teams going five rounds was really hard. And a best of 7's kind of like that. It's easy to burn yourself out too early. Giza now shoots toward net. Skill steal. Having none of it. Oh, he was so quick off the backboard to get it forward. And for the time being, Reformed hanging on to their 1-goal lead and looking like they deserve it, Pyro. It doesn't feel like a lucky goal. They're hanging on by the skin of their teeth. They're doing the business right now.
They most certainly are. One thing that I'm keeping an eye out for Reformed in this match is how aggressive do they end up getting when they are on offense. We'll table that because there's no offense to be had for Reformed right now. The long clear from Weelu is caught from Wordy for the equalizer.
I'm not sure what happened. I don't know. It just seemed like skill steal on the one side, Archeon on the other were just so slow to converge on the flight path of that ball and not seeing the danger. A little bit of a strange goal to me.
Yeah, it is strange, but it doesn't cast us the end of this game quite yet, as we still have 3 minutes on the clock. So all kinds of time for Reformed to get back into formation. I remember seeing this match from them yesterday, and when they do get on the offensive side, they seem to press everybody up. They're not afraid to get all 3 players on their opponent's back third just to get the next goal in. So when we look at these counterattacks, when we look at these breakaways from ATK, keep an eye on who's there for reinforcements on Reformed, because it's been a bit shallow from day 1. Right now, though, they're looking to get a chance on this end.
All right, Skill still trying to keep the play going. His teammates rotating up, and maybe to your point, no. Archeon's going to have a clear-sighted goal. Gizao can't save. Archeon in the Esper gets goal number 2 for Reformed.
Feed the beast at this point. Archeon, he's ready to be the sharpshooter of the day. I think Gizao thought he had a lane to this save, but with the entire goal being an opportunity right there for Archeon, it's tough to know where it's going to land. So Reformed form up a good response very quickly against ATK, get the lead back. And this is an important game, Graybeard, because if they can get their first win in this series, it'll be their first win against ATK. That'll be a statement to make.
Well, it'll be the start of the redemption arc, the start of the story. But as we've already covered, best of 7, long way to go, but it would be a very good start for them. A confidence-building start. And, and they're doing okay. Wheelo, though, setting the ball kind of backwards. Gizao, there's an open net. There might have been a midfield bump. No, okay, it's not as threatening as it initially thought it might have been. Thought they'd left themselves open at the back. And here they come. Wheelo looking for the shot. It was a nice pass, but ably read and intercepted.
And as Wordy was a leader on ATK, I feel like you're expecting him to finish the plays. Instead, he's making the assist. Mr. Lowe, though, setting up Archeon. That's the hat trick from the Esper. And a wonderful flick from Mr. Lowe, looking composed on the field. 3-1 lead for Reformed.
I might go so far as to call it a delicious flick. That goal was entirely about how good that flick was. But it is Archeon in the Esper, as we've said, on the end of it, getting the hat trick. Is it the Esper? Is it the player? Well, perhaps it's the combination of the two. Oh! Okay, Archeon's lost his mind. What is going on out there? 4 goals from Archeon, and this time pretty much on his own. But it has to be said, Pyro, very uncontested. He was given a day and a half to set that up.
Yeah. I think you've put up the perspective that needs to be discussed, which is that, yes, Archeon, great to see him on fire. Great 4th goal, but that wasn't terribly threatening, especially in the sense that ATK took their jolly old time in getting their first challenge on. You've got 3 players on the field. That first challenge needs to come a lot sooner. The double jump into a proposed air dribble bump just maybe shouldn't have been enough, but talk about enough. 4 goals in this first game with a 3-goal deficit against ATK. It's not looking very promising for them to bring it back.
Not yet, and not the way they're going. It's come down off the ceiling, got awkward for a moment. Archeon is there, and he's kept possession. Oh no, and Gizao's made a horrible miss. Archeon going for the bump. Wheelo does enough. Oh, that would have been nail coffin. I think it's already pretty much a lock, but that would have shut the door completely. But this is going to have to be very much a reset game for ATK. They've been undoing Reformed, but they've been pretty much picked apart here. They will get one. Giza are going to get a second, but probably a little too late.
Feels like that. When you play the long game, though, I think this is important, especially for Gizao, a player who maybe gave up a couple more opportunities to ATK than they would have liked to allow. So finding confidence in that final goal here of game number 1 could be that mental shift that they need to stand this long series. Hold on, Graybeard.
Okay. Oh, no.
Hold on, because Gizao is doing a little more.
Am I going to regret the words "got a lock" on this game? Oh, dearie me. It's going to be a 6-second sweat fest to finish it up. And this is all about the kickoff now for ATK.
It certainly is. Gizao going to send it right. Wheelo has to get that follow. They've got the advantage with the ball pressed up into the blue half. They just need to keep it alive. From the backboard, there has to be a shot taker. Wheelo, no, there's nobody there, Graybeard. It's going to be a win for Reformed as the ball dies uncontested.
That was very, very strange, that close. I mean, that's an all hands on deck situation, and the ball had floated in the air a while. Somebody's got to get there, keep it up. So it seemed very close in the end, and maybe Reformed stepping off the gas a little bit in that last minute, the last 45 seconds. But an accomplished performance and a very important confidence-building performance for Reformed. But now it is best of 7. ATK got time to reset and get their game right.
There is time, yeah, most certainly, to regain in this series. I think when we look at this match, one of the reasons I love Reformed is any one of these players can become the leader. We had moments from Mr. Lowe where he was driving the ball down the field and save first. He's left ATK with few shot chances in this match, but Archeon, it can't go unsaid. 4 goals in this game. Archeon appears to be spearheading this effort.
All right, Archeon in the Esper. I assume he will come out a superstitious bunch, the Rocket League players tend to be, and once you've got a good thing going, you don't want to change it. Can they keep it up? Can ATK close them down? A good kickoff right off for Reformed. Skill steal, very aggressive, but it's going to pinch all the way back to the Reformed corner. And yeah, ATK will want to be, you know, they might have instilled a little bit of a lot of uncertainty and doubt for Reformed, having had those sweeps sort of in succession. And ATK don't want to let Reform get too comfortable against them.
Yeah, that doubt is slowly dissipating, right? With a win under their belt and so many goals on the board in that last game. Again, I can't go without re-emphasizing the fact that 3 of those 6 games that they had lost in the past 2 series did go to overtime. 5 of the 6 games were just won by 1 single goal. ATK and Reformed, they're used to playing very close games. So the 4-3 scoreline at the end of game 1, it shouldn't come as a big surprise. Geese out with that big clear. He's trying to keep that momentum going from those last 2 goals in game 1.
Yeah, and important for ATK, they do have Werty in action. He subbed out in the back end of the Swiss yesterday. Not entirely sure why. Galaxy coming in, so that's a good sign for them, or good omen for them. Oh, look at this! Skill steal! Sees the open net from distance, gives it the little doinkity doink, but it's a pass from Archeon. Oh, skill. What a touch.
And he's a menace to even be in position for that pass, right? This is a moment where Reformed are trying to transition from defense to offense, and Skill Steal being so solid defensively today, he's right in the center of the field. He's ready for that clear, that pass, that transition from Archeon. And you can expect the precision on the redirects from a player like Skill Steal. Great first goal for them to start off game 2.
All right, so that's going to further build their sense of confidence in their capacity to overcome this ATK team. Weelu looking for a shot at angle, almost falls for Gizao, but now there's a counterattack. Skill steal, does he get the double? Oh, Werty is there to make excellent defending and get it away, but almost an astonishing.
Skill steal does look for a chance here, and Mr. Lowe wants something of it as well. Gizao, who's made so many long clears as well, has been just prominent in this match defensively. Even with the 2 goals towards the end of the game, looking to make transitions. There needs to be a transition of defense, though, from ATK. Weelu does have something. Werty wants to be a menace on the goal line, setting up Gizao, and there needs to be another chance, another shot, another follow. Gizao, he's ready to throw the punch in, an equalizer so quickly for ATK. Look at the goal line from Reformed 2. Most of the time, there's always a player. There's the communication. Go 1 up at a time. You see them dead in their tracks, excuse me, right on the goal side. Unfortunate situation there for Reformed, but this is exactly how game 1 went, folks. It was a first goal from Reformed, and then ATK found the response. And we saw 3 in a row from Reformed, so just expect that goal right now for ATK to charge up, to rejuvenate in a way. Reformed, no rejuvenation happening there, though. Demolition on the goal line. Mr. Lowe's going to the Shadow Realm for a few moments, but he's back in action to keep this offensive push alive. Mr. Lowe on the 50-50. The aerial out to Archeon. Flick out to the center field. It's a good pass to Skill Steals. Knock it right off of the post. There's a follow from Mr. Lowe that is outstretched way by the wayside. And we're used to this consistent pressure from Reformed. We saw it a lot in day 1. But they've also spent a lot of time painting the woodwork, the crossbar, the posts. They've got to work on that precision. They could right here. Mr. Lowe, the redemption shot. That's going to be enough. Finds it right near the right post for a go-ahead goal for Reformed. So 2-1. And if folks haven't realized, we did lose Greybeard for a moment there. That's all right. The game is still on. The action still to be had. Reformed. Could they get the ultimate comeback here, or will it be a double tap? Gizao feeling fired up after the last goals in this series and looking for more, hungry for more. Double tap very close. And if that's not a goal, it's at least a threat to the mechanical ability of this ATK team. Archeon needs to make a diving save there. Still 2-1. He's out. Next up to the plate, low on boost, needs to pick up that container that's going to fuel him defensively. I want to see more control from this team, though. Gee's out, so much space down the field there to catch the ball and run it up the field, bait in some defenders and get some extra 50-50s. What we're seeing more often, though, from Gee's out is these constant long clears, and I don't know, in a situation with under a minute remaining, this team needs scoring opportunities, not quick transfers of possession. They've only got 30 seconds now, and they're hammering away at the net. See Reformed. Well set up, though, on the defensive end. There it is off the corner. Willu has to push up. Skill steal, a menace. Midfield has always had that presence throughout this game. Could they hold on to the lead with just that? Wordy and Willu with the pinch downfield. It's still not enough. Skill steal is that center line. He's the half-court pressure that will not allow ATK an easy transition to offense. 2 seconds now. The ball's got to stay alive a little better than game one. A pass out to Wordy. The shot at the goal line. Are you kidding me? It always comes down to the last second, but Reform, they hold on strong. It's a win for them. And they keep themselves alive and thriving, no less, in this series. ATK, that close. All right, Graybeard, welcome back. It's a 1-point win from Reform to keep them in the lead in this series 2-0. They just held on. It appears so. I mean, listen, Reformed had a stark lead in game number 1, and this time around we're only in the lead with 1 point, so it asked a lot of them defensively, but the one thing I'm most impressed with is skill steal. Remember his doinky doink, as you called earlier in the game with the shot in center field? He's been owning the midfield pressure almost the entire game too, just a complete nuisance and unallowing ATK to get a strong offensive approach. So I don't know, we may see more of it, but in this situation, ATK, they've got to win game number 3, right? Because unless, if they don't, they have to completely reverse sweep. Oh, Graybeard, are you in the OBS as well? Because if you're in the OBS, we can hear you. Okay, we'll get Graybeard on the OBS. Sorry, folks, we can hear him in the Discord, but
Okay,
we're still getting
back.
him in the.
Okay.
Oh, we're back.
Carry on. As you were saying, Pyro.
All right. No, very well. No, as you were saying, in fact, as well. I mean, right, we're in that situation where still ATK have to get that performance. We need something from them if they don't have to pull off a complete reverse sweep. But you're back, Graybeard, and you're just in time, ready for game 3 to call the action again.
All right, well, here we are. It's been a good time for Reformed out there. Look at Archeon still going in the Esper. Mr. Lowe having to do some defensive work. Gizao, Wilu, skill steal's got it now. If he can get past, there's an open net. Can they get there quick enough? They're tracking back. Mr. Lowe looking for the end of the pass from skill steal. Almost works out, but Reformed getting bolder and bolder.
And that's what you expect out of this team who's feeling very empowered after 2 wins. Only getting stronger, as we said earlier, from the ATK sweeps. Now it's them with the possibility to come up with a sweep of their own. I'm still baffled, Graybeard, with Archeon in this Esper. it is not what I expected to see today.
It's the ultimate placebo, right? You're like feeling a little rough and changing the car, but my word, has he been on fire, and it is Archeon now in that Esper, looking for a way forward, and something there. Gizao is going to get there and get the clear. Worty, does he get on the end of this? He does, but Wilu, off the crossbar. Archeon gets the clear. Ooh, it's okay. Now Now you sort of feel the tension building, the temperature rising out there, Pyro.
You can tell ATK mean business. They do not want to come away with a loss in this game. It would be detrimental in this series. So you see that offensive pressure start to work up really well. They're even going as far to get some team pinches here just to press up forward. And, you know, it's unique, but it's working out for them. Archeon, I thought he might add that second touch, maybe a ground pinch. It never comes through, but it's a pass from Weelu over to Wordy. Shot saved by Skill Steal. Isn't enough for them, though. Mr. Lowe doesn't get the better of that 50. Skill Steal with the container and boost, able to maneuver it off of the backboard. Great defensive presence there from Skill Steal.
And the longer this game goes with no score, Wordy! Oh my word, Mr. Lowe, how did he get back? We don't know, but he did do it. The longer it goes without a score, I think that is good for ATK, because it gives them time to kind of get their own confidence back where they're not chasing the game. They're looking to make something happen, but it's not going to be Archeon. We've been talking about him all series. Gets the opening goal out here. And he has been involved in all the goals, and he's involved by scoring it now.
This is not the Reformed versus ATK. This is the Archeon versus everyone match right here. How much involvement can you ask for? More than just about 100% shot conversion, and just involvement from him has been exceptional. Will it be enough? Again, they're all together, clumped up defensively on the goal line. They've got to get it clear. Otherwise, it's looking very dangerous. Up the crossbar now. Unbelievable Gizao. 2 takes towards the net. All of it painting the woodwork.
Yeah, and that start now the frustration builds, because you get into positions where you can score. You're putting it high, putting it wide, and you start to get frustrated because you feel like, oh, Archeon again! Find some way somehow to get it in. Gizao can't get the clear. Low towards the net. Weelu though with a terrible read, and then the bump. What a team play! Finished off by Archeon. Reform 2-0.
Yeah, you know what? I said it's Archeon versus everybody, but that play in of itself shows so much how Skill Steal and Mr. Lowe have been facilitating the overpowering offense of this team. Just look at how Mr. Lowe with that bump and then getting in the way of the last defender, forcing the own goal. They're just complete menaces when it comes to that disruption play. And so ATK most certainly feeling disrupted in their efforts and their expectations, at the very least, to score in game number 3 still with that goose egg.
I wonder what the possibilities are here of an unbelievable high IQ play here from Reformed Weelu, where the sweeps were all just part of a setup. You know, playing the sort of rope-a-dope long game, and now ATK think they're going to take it easy, and suddenly Reform come to the party. Set up for Mr. Lowe. He's going to get it past one off the back. Wordy will get it clear, but it is ATK once more under pressure, somehow having to find 2 goals in just north of a minute.
It's going to be difficult, but it's not out of possibility for ATK. They've got to get this ball on the other side of the field, though. 60 seconds. Archeon sends it towards center field. Mr. Lowe in up position to get a touch there. Archeon wants to press up forward for it. Of course, this is a team who just doesn't need to concede 2 goals, but they are ready to put more on the tally. Tack it on. Archeon forcing awkward situations again for ATK. Weelu's going to have to give up that ball to Gizao. Wordy next on the ball, but he's not going to get there. These connections, they've got to be consistent. They cannot limit themselves on any missed opportunity. And now it's looking bleak for ATK.
25 seconds to go. Reform should have this and be putting ATK, or they are going to get one here. They get one back. Gizao likes to score his goals very late in the game at a time where it may not help, but you know, this is different now. It's 19 seconds for a single goal rather than the 6 from game 1. Maybe, either way, this is, again, comes down to the kickoff. Reformed, they want to get possession and control of the ball from here right now and just remove any options for ATK.
It's going to take a gargantuan effort for ATK to actually come back and force an overtime. They've done half the work, but the last 50% needs to be now. Wordy downfield with a long clear, but Archeon trying to stay close to this ball, get enough 50-50s that can end this game. Archeon, the number 1 priority to get the ball on the ground. That's what it'll be. Reformed 3-0 so far against ATK, and Listen, if it truly was a redemption match, it would have been a best of 5 and the match would be over. But we've said it enough times, Graybeard. Best of 7. ATK, technically, they're not out just yet.
Wow, wow, wow. What a performance this has been. And you're quite right. It is a best of 7. There is the reverse sweep potential, of course, is always there. It is not over till it's over, but it is worth acknowledging how momentous it is. We know the rarity of best of 7 reverses. You got to string together 4 consecutive perfect games. It's a mammoth task for them, but they've got to not focus on the long version. It's just play the next game. Do what you can, win this next game, and take it from there.
That's all it takes, is one game at a time. Reform, though, looking so strong, and got to talk about them defensively too. They managed 8 saves that game, and not only that, they just pose very little vulnerabilities. I think it's been Skill Steal, who, normally if this is a player on this squad who, caught 6 regional wins in the last season, you expect him to be doing everything on the field, from the goals to the assists to the saves. But really what Skill Steal's doing is playing his role to the best of the ability and ensuring that this team is well-rounded. That's exactly what we're getting out of Skill Steal, just holding this team together and making sure that their defense is gridiron. It's been that way throughout the series. Little gaps, and will it be the case here in game number 4? We are here in day 2 of the main event, a chance for Reform to sweep ATK.
Just thinking about, you take an exponential jump in the scheme of things, Pyro, by winning this. 16 teams starting, there's 8 teams who start today. And you win this, you go from a top 8 team to a top 4 team instantly. And what a great story that would be for Reform. And it has been a bit of a struggle. Mr. Lowe has spoken up. He's talked up the potential of this team. So it would be a wonderful what's the word I want? Like a justification or, oh my word, you know the word I want. Validation. Thank you very much for that effort, for that faith in their team. But they got to get through this. They see the finish line. Now there's the business of crossing over it.
There is, yes, it's a formality almost in a sense to actually signify your position as a top 4 team. With 1 win, Reformed can do just that. It's seeming as close as ever. We talked about how these 2 teams have matched up together twice already this season, and 5 of the 6 games were only won by 1 point. They're used to this close, contentious battle. It could be the case that this 0-0 scoreline persists throughout the game, but with Archeon having this much space, it is looking dangerous. The quick challenge from Wordy, though. Take it away.
Well, it was a long time we waited for the opening goal in that last game. And we're going to have something similar here. 2 minutes of toe-to-toe action here, sort of bare knuckle battle out there. But here comes Skill Steal with his team Reformed, looking for that open. And I do think if they get the open, it might well lock it down for them. It just might take all the remaining wind out of the ATK sails. Skill Steal doesn't get, oh my word, doesn't get a banger on it, touches the rebound, it goes cross goal. Who's there? Archeon's Esper to bang in the redirect.
And I saw a lone Esper towards the corner of the field, just landing on their 4 separated wheels, trying to recover, but meanwhile in perfect position to knock that ball in. And listen, if you're looking for any of these 6 players to close out that play, to have the precision on the shot taking, might not be Mr. Lowe on that play. It was Archeon, who has been scoring an egregious amount of goals this series. He's just adding to the tally now. 1 goal lead for Reformed. And if I'm not mistaken, I think they've scored first in every single game so far. They're used to getting this good first impression.
Nice flick back eventually by Wheelu, but it was a little bit of a you go, no you go sort of situation in the mid there for ATK. And as a result, they've kind of let the opportunity be squandered a little bit, but they are still in attacking position. Werty shoots it, saved, and Skill Steal will push it into the corner, but a good period of sustained pressure coming from ATK. And if they don't score, which they haven't, it just builds that frustration. I mean, we've all been there, Pyro, where you eventually you go, what are we supposed to do to be able to score, to get a lead, to have something go our way?
Well, there's one thing that's been consistent from ATK, and it's that they've been able to score later in the game. It feels like they don't really up the ante on their aggression and their offense until much, much later in the game when they know they, quote-unquote, need to score. Well, it's getting to be that point that the offense needs to come in order, because Reformed, they see the victory lap now. They see the finish line in sight.
So keep in mind, this is a unbelievable performance. If they take it down in a sweep, which it looks like they might, although the ATK late show might still arrive, I mean, it is an astonishing result if they can pull it off.
Oh, it is. I mean, we look at the matches today, and this was one that we absolutely expected to be close, if not the closest of the day, minus White Rabbit versus Millennial Times Gaming. And listen, worked this close to a sweep, but there's still a minute on the clock. Graybeard, I'm not going to get ahead of myself here. We've seen the late show, as you called it, from ATK. Archeon's not going to get that double tap. Skill Steal's trying to keep the pressure going, but has run out of boost. It's a good chance for ATK, though. They're going to double commit on that attempted clear. Communication's got to get a little more crisp here if they want to come back in this last minute.
Well, 40 seconds to go, and it is yet more Reformed pressure, keeping the ball away from their own goal line, making, oh my word, okay, that look at, Mr. Low here with the double, coming perilously close, bouncing down off the cross, but Skill's there to finish. Reformed are indeed reformed.
They most certainly are. You know Mr. Lowe wanted that goal as well, but he's happy to see Skill Steal clean up, be in position, and I think that's the trend of this series. It had really been Reformed just in position at the right place, the right time. I'm still thinking about that Archeon goal earlier when he was near the goal line trying to put on the pressure but could just finish the play. And now it's getting to be the score line that will be the series score when we wrap it all up. That ball coming right between all three defenders.
What a performance this has been. And it speaks to, we spoke about how it changes from Swiss, where it seems like you have so many chances to get it right, to the single elimination in the quarterfinals, and it might just be a case of ATK not quite there, not quite warmed up yet, not quite there. And they have paid the price. They've been taken down. They've been dunked. They've been shut out. They've been booted out by Reformed. Reformed, top 4 team ATK are out in the quarters.
Man, I'm getting memories, Graybeard, of last season from SSA when ATK started out as one of those top 3 teams, but slowly as the season went on, more and more teams started raising their ugly head and saying, no, we want a chance at it too. Well, it's early on in the season. It's the very first regional that we're going to see ATK out of the top 4 and Reformed in. So it's a beautiful thing to see, Graybeard. I'm not saying I was calling out this team for being one of the best in the region, but at the same time, I might be saying that. So only our first result, though, of today, Graybeard. We've got so much more left.
Yeah, but listen, Reformed, they've got the day off now. They had to come to work early. They did their work efficiently and magnificently, and now they can go and chill. They make it through tomorrow. And Mr. Lowe has got to be feeling so good right now. He retired in the months lead at the beginning of the year of 2021. He left competitive Rocket League behind to go and pursue real life affairs. And then we get into the RLCS, and after many, many months of not playing, he rushes back in with his team out of retirement, then Bot Gaming, then Nibble Esports. He's been grinding away, and it has been a hard slog. And now for the first time, making top 4, he's got to be feeling pretty pumped.
It's a redemption arc, no doubt. I mean, everything about that match was having Reformed been swept by ATK 2 times prior and winning this game in a sweep. Now it's Mr. Lowe coming out of retirement. I mean, we remember that team out of retirement before Mr. Lowe was on Nibble Esports. He is back and he's ready to play. And it took the first regional. It's so important to make that impression. Mr. Lowe having the likes of Skill Steel and Archeon on that team together, looking wonderful, Graybeard.
Yeah, okay, good. Well, I think we're going to... okay, so let's go back to the desk quickly because I think we need to have... You and I need to have some words with Jota. Hello, Jota. So what did you think? I mean, look, I was doubtful in my prediction. I wasn't as solid as Pyro was. But my word, what a performance. What did you make of what you just saw?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you have to step back and say, fair enough. You flipped the script there. I think my crystal ball was just a bit foggy when I was saying, like, come on, guys, how many more sweeps until, like, you're listening? As it was me who was supposed to be listening after one more sweep, it turns out, was all it takes. But, I mean, yeah, it was a really top performance from them. It was 450-point average from Archeon. Huge shift from him. And I really like when you're talking about Mr. Lowe, when it means to him. To clarify, this is his first top 4 in RLCS.
Wow. That's Mr. Lowe, you said, Jota.
Yeah, Mr. Lowe. Ex-Pirates from way back.
All right, Jota, now, I think...
Oh, yeah, we get it. I got it from Jota. It's saying Mr. Lowe's first top 4 appearance. That is magnificent. That's what this new season is about, Graybeard. I think it is setting the example, setting new legacies, and that's exactly what we're seeing now out of Reformed.
Well, I think it is. We started off yesterday with just questions, right? I mean, so much has gone on. And look, to be fair, it happens in every region. Roster changes, drama. This guy's in that team. He's retiring. Yes, he's not. No, he's been kicked. He's on. He's off. And it goes on for 4 months for us, and we weren't sure how it was all going to pan out. And now the question, there are a few more answers. We've got a way to go. But I love the fact that as we stand right now, certainties are really hard to come by. And we're seeing it with the surprise. We're seeing it with Reformed through to the semi-finals. Man, what a story there. And it is only the first of 4 that we have to bring you today. So we are going to take ourselves a break. And when we come back, we are going to line up the second of the 4 quarterfinals, best of 7 that we're bringing you today. So see you at the other side of this. And we're back, 1 down, 3 to go. My question out the gate, Pyro, is it fair? I know you called for reform for that win, but is it fair in the stark light of day to call that an upset?
No, I would absolutely say not. I think that ATK, honestly, when you look at this roster, very good team, and you can vouch for them to be top 5, top 6. But when you look at their record as of late, Graybeard, they still have some proving grounds to assert themselves upon. They've taken losses against White Rabbit, Millennial Times Gaming, Orlando Pirates, and now Reformed. So they're adding to their loss list more than the win list of our current top 8 teams. ATK with these upcoming regionals will have a lot to prove. But on the side of Reformed, yeah, they're not looking as much like an upset pick, Graybeard. They're looking more like that top 4 established team.
All right, well, they're certainly top 4 now. Whether they're going to be established at top 4 will remain. We'll get answers to that question as the split progresses. But okay, so if the result wasn't an upset, Jota, is the scoreline an upset? A best of 7 sweep, 4-0.
I think given that the last 6 games between the two had all gone to ATK, anything short of a close game or an ATK win is definitely a surprise. I mean, it's, you asked me an easy question as someone who predicted 4-1 or 4-2 the other way, so I get the easy picture that, yeah, of course, it's a surprise. But fair enough to Reformed. I mean, Mr. Lowe showing he's old school is now cool, apparently.
Okay, well, let's turn our attention now to quarterfinal number 2. Orlando Pirates, Orion Esport. And Orlando Pirates, not to be confused with the Orlando Pirates of last season, more like the Bravado Gaming team of last season, now signed by Orlando Pirates to die for, replaced by Eli Kim. And then Orion Esport, a little bit of, for me, a blowing hot and cold team. They were the VS Gaming runners-up, so they made their way there. Some will say the obvious by way of a disqualification of Bravado and Orlando Pirates, but they've had good performances and poor performances. They look dangerous at times. Is there a world, Pyro, in which Orion Esports create what would be the biggest upset in the SSA region so far if they were to overcome Orlando Pirates?
Listen, we're painting Orion Esports like they really don't have a chance here. And I know when the two teams look at really anyone against the Orlando Pirates name, or who they know to be on that team now, Happy Meal Cams and Eliakim, who has been incredible so far in this main event, don't count out Orion Esports. Don't look at this as a for sure sweep or anything of that sort. I think from what we saw from Orion Esports yesterday on the main broadcast against Ice Esports, there's a lot of potential of this team. Hot and cold may be a good description, Graybeard, because out of all the good, we did see some bad. But 2 players I'm watching for on this roster is number 1, Adapts, who has made wonderful shots throughout the game, and then it was Declan as well to win the series off of a wonderful outsmarting play, Doomsy dish, and just fantastic dunking play. I think there's potential for RN Esports. I may not count them for the win, but I want to see them make this a match.
All right, fine. Well, I'm going to let the two of you talk about it. I'm going to make my prediction. I do think Orlando Pirates take it. They did make heavy weather at times yesterday, so I don't think they take it in a sweep. Maybe 4-1, 4-2. But I'm going to leave the two of you to talk about it as you get into the game, casting this second quarterfinal. Pyro and Jota.
All right,
Yeah,
let's do it, Jonah. It is
pleasure.
time. It is time to talk about our second match of the day. I think our players are definitely getting prepared to get underway. So it's going to be a fun one. I think Orlando Pirates, always a good time when we get to watch and play some Rocket League.
Yeah, that is. And it's way too early in the season to say it, but I'm going to be the first to mention the word worlds. Just, sneak that one in early. This Orlando Pirates team definitely built in the offseason with one goal, which is making sure that they get to the World Championships. That is their target. And if that is your target, then you immediately, from Regional 1, have to start worrying about points towards qualification. So you know that this team, they will be thinking, we need to get to the final to make sure we're racking up points. All the pressure is on them. Admittedly, a lot of it will be self-inflicted. Happy Meal living up to it, though. What a save. And what nice play from Orion Esport, coming out the gates early, showing some good offensive pressure. And I think that's what you have to do as an underdog. Come out on offense, make your opponents uncomfortable.
Yeah, well, I do know someone who is painting Reformed as the underdog just the other match there, Jota, and look what they did in the last match. They came out swinging every single game. They were able to score first, so I couldn't agree more. That first impression coming in the way of pressure and shots registered is very important for this Orion Esports team. In fact, they've spent most of the time on the other side, but it only takes a quick counterattack for this team of Orlando Pirates to get back in it. I'm still thinking of the goal we saw yesterday. It was Cams with this long clear up to a pre-jumping Eliakim to hit the top corner of the net. And trust me when I say this team can score from anywhere on the field.
Yeah, they absolutely can. A goal is good if it's haunting you still the next day. I'm certain that they'll be looking back on that one a lot more fondly. Cam's putting forward to Eliakim. They're already starting to look to get that same link-up pairing going. And I do think that that's the obvious duo for the Orlando Pirates. That goal, a less likely duo link-up between Happy Meal and an Orion Esports defender to get that one across the line.
Oh boy. Yeah, Declan, I think, was happy with the positioning on the back post, but then not so happy when they see their teammate end up with the last touch in the net. But it's all about that play style there from Happy Meal to send the shots in where maybe the defense doesn't suspect it at first. So Orlando Pirates start off with a great start in this match against Orion Esports. Could be the first to bet.
It could indeed. And what I wanted to say before Happy Meal interrupted me to shut me up was that I think that Cams to Eliakim is the most likely passing lane of this team. They can do it all. Happy Meal, again, he will refuse to let me say that he's going to be the solid defensive one. Because I do think his standard role in the team, if we go on what we saw last year and the way that Eliakim played on Digital Devils, Happy Meal is the one you would expect to be sitting deeper, playing more of an anchor role, holding the team together. But clearly, they are out for blood. They know that getting off to an early start is really important to get the momentum rolling.
I think winning may be a secondary mission here, Jota. Proving you're wrong is clearly the primary directive, but finally we'll see a goal from someone other than Happy Meal. It's Eliakim to round it out, and who better than Cams here to set up the play? We've seen Cams do a lot of the mechanical work for this team in recent times, and I think we have more to see it as well. An early 3-0 start from potentially favored Orlando Pirates.
Yeah, I do think it's very important for them to do so. It's fine when you're under pressure. It's fine you come in, you get offsided well, the nerves are gone. The danger was always for me going to be if Orion Esports took game one, that they would start to get into panic mode. I think that now they're starting to get settled. That, of course, being unless Orion can do something in the back half of the game. There is still plenty of time left. They do need to get out their own box first, though. Tristan not able to get that clear. Eliakim just going to be a real nuisance. They're going for strange touches. I'm not sure he had a plan when he went up for that, other than to cause mischief.
Plans worked out so far, and it most certainly will for Cams Didn't even realize that he was still up here to get a second touch on the ball when he was bumped out of the way. But no, Declan's bump ends up with Cam's in the perfect position to finish it up. Everything is going the way right now of Orlando Pirates.
It is, and it could be more here. I like him. Even the kickoffs are going in their favor now.
Could be enough for them to make an advancement up the field. Great advantage for this team. It's important for RN Esports to get a look that was maybe similar to what we've seen from them out of the start of this game, which was spending a little less time on their back line. Will survive that front, but haven't quite gotten that clear that they're looking for. Communication looking a little jostled here as we're seeing double commits on the goal line, the very place where you don't want it. Adapts has to make a diving save there just to keep the shot out of the way. And it feels more like RN Esports just want to limit the number of goals as Orlando Pirates can score rather than getting goals themselves. That one, another near miss.
Yeah, it does look like they've decided to chalk off this game and focus on damage limitation. That being said, Declan nearly scored something ridiculous. Just trying to cast a curse, some crazy things into happening, you know, all part of the plan. But yeah, I do think that they're starting to approach this with the mindset of if we can keep them out for the back half of the game, start to stabilize, then we can start the next game in that same vein, keep it 0-0 for a while, and then look to build on offense.
That could be the case. They're building on something right now. Tristan from the corner looking to follow that up with an extra touch. Declan interrupting Happy Meal's approach to the orange half. And Declan once again looking to get this ball advancing up the field. Now 4 goals may be out of the realm of possibility right now, but a goal to maybe give a little bit of a stride for RN Esports into the next game would certainly help. 15 seconds on the clock now. Declan can't get the touch on the sidewall, but Tristan's still looking for him as he's got a full tank of boost. The 50-50's there. Happy Meal out to Eliakim. Cam's even trying to read it off the backboard there. Everybody sending their car into the ball, and Eliakim will have the last laugh in this game. Denied by Dabs. And whether or not this one finds its way into a net or upon the ground, the win is secured. Orlando Pirates very handily winning game number 1.
Yeah, Orlando Pirates started to look comfortable, started to make some double commits. But the frustrating thing when you play against a team that's several goals up and double committing for fun is that everyone says double commits are bad. They're only bad if one of the players doesn't get an insanely good touch. Like you saw a couple there. 2 players would go up, and Eliakim would air dribble it beautifully. It doesn't matter that the second one's up because you still got to deal with Eliakim. And that really is something that this Orlando Pirates team has. They are a full triple threat team. There is not one player on there that you can relax when they're on the ball.
Absolutely. It's what makes them so threatening, so dangerous, and what has made RN Esports just scrambling on defense. Despite all the time that they spent on their own half, they only credited themselves to 3 saves, 1 apiece. That shows to you that Orlando Pirates, the shots that they're making, they are slotting, and they have rallied up a total of 9 shots, according to the only 2 from RN Esports. Joda, I want to say those 2 came from the very beginning of the game, so maybe there's one towards the later end, but RN Esports, they're in a bit of a drought when it comes to offensive possession. They'll be looking to change that here in game 2.
Yeah, they will indeed, but I think mission number 1 is out the gates, not to concede another early goal. Being forced to make a comeback always requires playing more openly. Nearly a kickoff goal. It's a very important denial to stop that one. Coming in early, that would have been a full disaster because as soon as you have to chase the game, you have to open up. You open up, you leave spaces to concede more, and the games can start to run away. And that is a strange goal to score, I'll be honest with you. Real just nuisance play. Cam's, I think, as surprised as anyone else to have the ball there, but he's always alert, staying ready. A weird touch comes out, and he's ready to just get that little pop in field.
It reminds me of pinball, where somehow the ball finds a way to hit every single item, every single possibility on the field. But you make a good point. Cam's always ready. Eliakim, wanted the second touch off of the ground. Would have been juicy. Happy Meal trying to slot it from the corner. That's a second try. That'll go by the wayside, but just seeing more of that staunch goal line offense, really, from Orlando Pirates as they crowd around the scoring position. This is certainly an opportunity, though, for Declan as Cams has to make a quick save. You've just seen those kind of lightning in a bottle moments for Orion Esports. It almost feels like, yes, that might earn them a goal in this series, but some continued pressure would do them better. Oh,
it would. Not getting clipped on by Cams would also be lovely, but that's not an option they get here. The first ball up floated well, and that's a really good tight angle read. It's not just that he's got the angle, he's got plenty of power on the touch too. Almost impossible save. You really just have to jump and hope not fall in their favor, and in the first minute they fall 2 goals behind.
For Orion Esports, this is just a difficult situation to be in of itself, right? It's a reward to be here in the top 8, but it's almost a punishment to have to go up against Orlando Pirates, a team who's trying to contend for the #1 spot, really. Out of all their wins and their losses, the only loss I see them having against is May Contain Nuts. They are looking to be that top 2 squad, and for Orion Esports to have to play this team getting into the top 8 is just so difficult, and we're still seeing exactly why. Another one, tack it on to the tally mark here, averaging a goal every 30 seconds here, Joda.
Yeah, it probably doesn't feel like a reward to them now to be here, but you have to remember this team is relatively inexperienced, certainly with top 8 appearances. This is not a place that Orion Esports are used to finding themselves, and that means that this is a great experience, and they do finally get their first on the board. They can now avoid worrying about perfect sweeps or anything like that. That is one time to breathe a sigh of relief, and Tristan's actually very proactive, really, to latch on to that back pass. He didn't respect Orlando Pirates or trust them to hit the back pass well. He immediately noticed it was under hit and pounced.
Yeah, and that's not a surprising touch either to see from Happy Meal, right? He's always looking to try and cut it off, play the disruption play, and maybe interrupt the possession as it's forming for their opponents. But that touch was exactly the opportunity that Tristan needed to pounce on it. And yeah, not underestimating this team, but also kind of going gun-ho and trying to get those quick challenges may be the solution for Orion Esports as they're tacking on more shots. They're getting demolitions in as well. Maybe they are the disruptors of this series. Tristan, without getting that touch, though, again, limits them on continued possession, something I still think they need to win out in this series.
Yeah, they seem to be taking their time with the passes. They're maybe a little telegraphed. Certainly Orlando Pirates are reading them quickly, shutting down those cross-map balls. You see there again, Tristan tries to catch it to make something happen. There's already a Happy Meal in his face. The counterattacks have been working relatively well, I think, just because Orlando Pirates have been pressing up so highly. They're so aggressive. They see this as a match where they're the favorites, and when they're the favorites, they want to be on the front foot and attacking. I think that is also part of a byproduct of picking up Eliakim. They lost to Difel, who was quite attacking, and picked up Eliakim, who is an extremely aggressive player.
Oh yeah, and you can expect Eliakim to eat up all that boost, and well, he didn't take the container there, but it's because he's going for more shots. Declan, though, getting past one defender, out of resources, but still can be a nuisance on the goal line. Eliakim dodges it, isn't in position to make a clear, but Happy Meal finds Cams up the field. Cams wants to slot this off of the crossbar. Not going to be enough. Eliakim, tough angle to beat there, but still Cams has a presence on the offensive side. He's even waiting on the backboard to try and slot this in and surprise Orion Esports. It's not enough. Though they're not getting more shots, Orlando Pirates looking very strong at every single possession. That one's going to maybe secure this game #2. It is certainly another good impression from Orlando Pirates to be the next ones in the driver's seat.
That dunk from Eliakim was nothing short of rude. The pre-flip to get onto that one, stifling Orion Esports. And when that ball spilled out middle, it could have been anyone's. But you know that the positioning, the spacing from Orlando Pirates is really good. They're used to playing with each other. They've been together for a long time. Okay, they got a new third, but they started right at the start of the off-season. And anyone wants to doubt their synergy, have a look at this.
That's 3 assists from Cam right Cam's right and now, and I think Cam's has spent more time on his opponent's backboard than anywhere else on this field. Just ready to cherry pick, ready to facilitate any of the shot taking opportunities for his team. That's leadership right there, is not having to make the goals, the shots, the resets, the double taps yourself. Though we have seen a great double tap already in the series from Cams. It's also being the playmaker for your team. Demolition on the goal line against Orion Esports. They need the resources in terms of boost and players to make a monumental effort in this game to string it back. A goal, though, may be all that they're able to walk away from in this game, too. Still 30 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, there is. You again, though, see, Orlando Pirates, they have no interest in taking their foot off the gas. It's just not how this team plays. Always looking for offense, always looking to make things happen. It's going to be their greatest strength here. In the next game, it could easily become their greatest weakness if they continue to push forward. It does always open chances for counterattacks, even if it does mean that you have more pressure.
Well, there you have it. Why not put a little bow on the gift wrapped here for Orion Esports? They'll certainly take this and make it a sort of statement that they're not quite out of the series yet. It's a long one, best of 7, but Orlando Pirates have gotten 50% of the way through with their Game 2 victory. I think you said it best, Joda. They've shown zero signs of taking their foot off the gas. It is pedal to the metal here. Now, 18 shots. It took me a second to add it all up. That is quite a bit for one single game, Joda. You would know best as one of our lovely statisticians from last season.
Yeah, the Orlando Pirates last season and last season Bravado, which is now Orlando Pirates, both of them were averaging sort of 10, 11 shots per game throughout the regional. So this is far greater than the standard. And we do see from Orion Esports, we have a timeout called. And it's interesting because game 1, they only took 2 shots all game. It's something we highlighted, we had concerns about. There were 9 shots that game from Orion. Okay, they still lost 5-2, but in the cost of defensive concessions, they were able to at least start getting some shots off.
They were, yeah, and that's important, especially compared to game number 1, where it was only 2, and it came sort of towards the beginning of the game. It looked like Orlando Pirates, they just needed to take a minute to get their footing, and then it was pile driving from then on forward. But with game 2, giving a little bit of foundation to Orion Esports, now with this timeout, they have something to work with. They have some kind of strategy to get around to. It was that midfield play. It was that quick challenge that had Tristan taking the ball off a Happy Meal to sort of surprise Orlando Pirates and take a quick shot, take a quick goal. So what is it going to take? Is it sort of that cherry picking? Is it sort of that aggression that's going to push them forward in this match and give them more opportunities? Feels more like they have to think about defensively, though, because Joda, although they've seen a couple of goals, I don't know that they're going to give up 5 goals to Orlando Pirates and find a win.
Yeah, it's hard to see them pulling out a 6-5 win in a situation like that next game. Defense has to be a point of focus. But it's nice that they've already fixed the shooting numbers, which means that's not something they have to worry about in this timeout that they called. And we have reached the end. We won't know what they've talked about, but again, you really do have to hazard a guess that it's defensive. They had that one problem solved. Still plenty to work on. It's a difficult position to be in, though, because at the moment they're getting beaten for raw pastables. There's more initiative from Orlando Pirates. And when a team is outpacing you on offense, it is hard to find a solution. You have to play really smart to let them beat you to some balls, make some concessions. But you never, on defense, want to have to make those concessions. You have to be honest with yourself to have that patience. And that's normally something that comes from experience more than anything else. So they're going to need to play well beyond their years to come back into this one, I feel.
It's almost foreshadowing, though, as well, right, Joda? Because this is the very beginning of the RLCS season. So, if anything, getting the experience to play against the best of Orlando Pirates here on the main stage of day 2 of main event is going to be exactly that experience that they're looking for to kind of, work those muscles, hit the gym so that when they come on back, they've got a little more strength It's still that aerial prowess, though, from Orlando Pirates that is defeating their opponents, as it does many a times. Cams is the one to get this around the corner, set up a Eliakim and Happy Meal to clean up the play.
Yeah, Eliakim so speedy up to that to just clean beat them out to it. And getting beaten to balls by Eliakim is no insult. He was statistically the fastest other than Snowy in the whole region last split. It's such a weapon. You have to permanently worry about his pace on turning. And look, the reason that they're very good is because there is no cheap, simple counter to it. It's not a rock, paper, scissors situation. That being said, we have now made it nearly a minute and a half. Orient, despite the concession, they have not looked too bad in this game. I do not mind at all what we're seeing from them.
But maybe that double commit on defense. Need to be able to send only one defender. They do it again. And, well, it's plain as day from Orion Esports. That timeout maybe need to get a little more composed after which, but you already painted the picture of how quickly these players move, right, Joda, from Orlando Pirates. So getting in those situations where you're feeling a little hectic, a little panicked, and having to send both defenders, it's not much of a fault, more of a result as to have to playing Orlando Pirates.
Yeah, it's the sort of thing like people might think of it like an unforced error, but it's very much forced in the way that they play. They're making them play at the absolute limit of a pace, reducing their time to make decisions. You see again a double commit there because Eliakim is so dangerous. Both of them, the panic bells ring. That time, one of them does get up to it well. Just comes back at them again and again. This time it's Cams providing the danger. Constant offense. And that pass is disgusting. That is the best we've seen so far. Eliakim gets his wheels on this one. And he could have put this ball anywhere. The defense had to posture for the shot. Such a tight angle onto that. And it finds Cams perfectly.
And, you know, we almost are so inclined to talk about RLCS Esports and the improvements that have to be made, but it's really the spotlight that just has to shine right now on Orlando Pirates. Like, you're not going to see many teams that are this synergized after the massive shakeup in SSA at the very beginning of the season. Yet Orlando Pirates, in stark contrast to the double commitments from RN Esports, look so composed, look so synergized, just look like one complete unit and network. And it is working out tremendously for this team on that passing play, on these mechanical efforts. Everything's sorting out their way. RN Esports, to every single possession, have to make every single moment count if they want to stake a claim in this series.
Yeah, and you have to consider as well, Orlando Pirates, some of these passes, they're not even able to see each other like their Cams playing that blind to Happy Meal up. They're playing on instinct and intuition. They trust each other to be there for the balls. And every time that you trust your teammate and your teammate delivers, it just installs that bit of extra confidence to go for it again. And confident really is the word for how Pirates are playing. It's so free-flowing because they believe in themselves. They trust each other for every ball. Cam's here, blind popping it back to Eliakim. He is there for it. Takes 250s, constantly looking. Orient keeping this one somewhat low scoring, but it's only through frantic launching at plays to keep them out.
Is most certainly still, again, looking more like game one than game number two in terms of their shot count. Only finding 2, and that's on the side of Declan. And if we had statistics on about how long this ball has spent, on each half, I think it is well and in the favor of Orlando Pirates on the orange half. Eliakim, this is just dirty. Well, one defender after the other getting past them, making them jump for it, setting up their teammates. Cam's next to the ball, but Tristan finds it, uses every ounce of boost just to keep that dribbling play alive. And Daps has to be the defender on the dunk. Can't do that. Declan flipping away from the ball, and that's very exemplary of this attempt from RN Esports to keep a persistent offense, to keep a possession that's alive for longer than 10 or 15 seconds. It's just been very difficult when they don't get those connections that they just need. That to play at this level of top 8 of SSA, you have to be more consistent than that. we string together the final seconds of game number 3, in which, well, we haven't seen anything but sweeping sessions in this SSA Day 2 of RLCS. Orlando Pirates take game 3 and are 1 away from getting our second sweep of the day.
They are indeed. It looks to be business as normal, locked in Orlando Pirates. Orion, they are now at that point where they do just have to throw whatever at it and see what sticks. They did again, at least. They halved the shooting differential from the last game. They conceded 18 in game 2, only 10 this time. It really does seem to be the choice, though, right? They can either try and limit Orlando Pirates on offense or create offensive opportunities themselves. It's like, pick one. And they really need both to make games happen. But it seems that they can't have one without creating gaps in the other department.
It is difficult to strike that balancing act, but it also feels like there's still opportunity to inject something new. We haven't seen a whole lot of bumps or demo plays from either team, maybe more so from Orlando Pirates than anyone. So RN Esports a chance to maybe mix some disruption into the play. At least we didn't see it a lot in that previous game, but yeah, finding only one single goal in some of these games and a couple others 0 is a difficult drought to become rejuvenated from once again. Maybe something early on in game 4 can turn this around, but as we head into what could be the final game of this match, Orlando Pirates feeling very momentous in their journey of the top 8, see that top 4 finish line right ahead of them.
Yeah, it can be very deceiving. You see that teams break out onto offense after so long on defense, and inevitably it means that they're low on boost when they do. So it's so hard for them to get those bumps, because when they break out onto offense, they just don't have the momentum to get through, go barreling down, chasing them up. And it also reduces their chances to be in those spaces for the passes, etc. It makes their offense look far worse than that it did. There is a reason they are here. They are very capable goal scorers. They just need to get chances on offense where they have that boost. And it's amplified that the very rare opportunities that Pirates let them go, there's that extra pressure because they know that it's rare to get given that chance by Pirates to breathe. It puts more pressure on making sure they do land something. Here, though, that's pinched out. No, I thought Orion Esports surely were going to open the scoring and take their first lead of the series, but Pirates said no.
Oh, but did they say yes eventually? Tristan's there in combination with Declan. They create a wall that simply Eliakim could not get past. Joda, you said they're at the point where they have to throw everything at the wall. Well, they certainly did that to get the first goal on the board in game 4.
Yeah, the wall of Eliakim did have everything going on it. And I was watching that from Eliakim's POV, and that was the most frustrating thing I've ever seen, because he could see the player on the wall coming at him, got really good, strong 50-50 on him, and then a second player appeared from fully, absolutely nowhere, well off of his screen, and just came in to deliver the dagger. Huge hit from Orion Esports. The question is now, do they continue trying to play the same way, stick with what's worked for the first third of this game, or are they going to be inclined to get more passive, sit back? Are they going to get scared and try and hold on to this 1-0 win? Because you certainly feel on previous evidence keeping Orlando Pirates to a clean sheet would take a monumental effort.
It would, but in the first almost 2 minutes of this game, they've managed to do just that. Tristan as well, before getting demoed on the play to get the mid boost container, had demoed one of the players from Orlando Pirates out as well. And again, it is forcing a little bit of special sauce, something spicy into the gameplay by disrupting the play of Orlando Pirates that could get them a little bit of headway in this series. Tristan was hoping to be on the other side of the ball there, gonna pop it up just to get past one defender, but no boost, and a tank to follow once again. Instead, it's Happy Meal out to Cams. Eliakim rounding the bout just to keep the ball in a safer position. Manages to do just that, but I think very smart for RN Esports to send everyone at the other side to try and make something of the play. Dabs may be surprised to see this one in, as it's a mistake from Cams on the back line.
Yeah, it is a very rare mistake from Orlando Pirates, but what a time for that mistake to come from Orion Esports. Naturally, it is because they've been applying more pressure, asking more questions in this game. But at 1-0 up, that second goal, an unbelievable blessing for them. They do capitalize on it too. This game has gone from, okay, they're in the lead, they're probably going to lose though, to now looking highly attainable. Orion Esports have a serious chance of getting that first step back and avoiding the sweep. Double commit there a little bit dangerous. You get the 50-50. The infield pass though, Happy Meal to Cams. The link up we saw all of 21-22 is back. Permanent threat. Even now there's still 2 minutes left. This 2 minutes is going to feel like an eternity for Orion Esports.
Oh yeah, everything they've worked for in this game kind of all culminates to these last moments, right? These little strings of possession that they've been able to gather. In fact, game 4, their possessions have been triple, if not quadruple the time, the very limited time that they have spent in the past 3 games. Could it be enough though to get themselves a win? Happy Meal looking for something, some injection of life into this offense of Orlando Pirates that's been just nothing in this game. Tristan finds them a little too overcommitted offensively, finds the ball on the wall, and strikes yet a 3rd goal against Orlando Pirates.
What a time to deliver. Pirates just starting to get impatient, pushing up really aggressive. A long clear over the top. This game is now Orion Esports' to lose. Eklund into the corner, doesn't get the double tap on it. The pass from infield, that is a rare sight. You see the pass not quite landing. Orlando Pirates, everything stuck perfectly for the first 3 games. For some reason in game 4, the link up just starting. I mean, it's natural, surely. They have to not hit everything perfectly, but it seems that every miss has come at once.
Certainly does, and oh boy, gotta average about a goal every 15 seconds as Eliakim takes that ball away from his teammate, but for good reason. Had a plan in mind from the start. Takes the ball up in the air and finds the secondary touch off of the wall. Eliakim says, when the moment arrives, I will make it count. They're not out of it yet.
Yeah, Eliakim is one of the grindiest players in the region. He is known for his insane commitment, the hours he puts in. And when you have that sort of player, it means that inevitably they spend a lot of time in free play. They are extremely comfortable with the pitch bounces. He used the corner of the ceiling there, a really awkward bounce, in his favor. He was a lot more comfortable with that than anyone else. And oh no, surely not. Pyro Cams pulls one back, a tight ankle shot. Relatively simple. He just sneaks it in the post while Eliakim goes demo hunting. And we said this was Orion Esports' game to lose, but now it gets the scary time. Back within 1, a terrifying position to be in.
They were able to thread that shot like a needle between the defenders, but is it all for naught? Still, Orlando Pirates need another goal if they want to sweep out this series or even have a chance at it. Cam's touch doesn't go there, but unbelievable as it's going to be an own goal. Cam's, he's missed some saves earlier, which is given Orion goals, but this miss right here, it's going to put Tristan in the worst possible position. It looked like a sturdy foundation beneath Orion Esports in game number 4, but it's all crumbled beneath them as the score's been tied.
Candidate for the best whiff in RLCS history there. Faking it, obviously, full intentional fake there to get the goal. And now all the momentum in favor of the Pirates to pull it back. 3 goals behind in 1 minute. Can Orion Esports stabilize, get back in control of this game? They were playing so well in the first half. It started to slip away. Some great misfortune for the equalizer as well. This is a real mental test for them.
Certainly is. This overtime has to be a refresher, has to be a ultimate challenge now for Orion Esports. Can they compose themselves to find one more goal, to find a win in this top 8 moment? A chance against the Orlando Pirates to take a win off of them. Tristan wants it badly. The pass off the backboard's not going to be enough for Declan as it's saved by Happy Meal. Camps now has a chance as we see all 3 players for Orion Esports in line on the sideline recovering. So he should get some time to bring this ball away from the goal line. Camps does just that. Has a chance off of the ball to send it ahead. Tristan Wasting zero time, though. You're seeing Tristan make every single play, every single touch count. It's up at the ceiling, up at the backboard. Tristan can't get to the ball. Eliakim rounds out the play, and that's it. Arian Esports, a 3-0 lead with 45 seconds remaining, somehow find themselves behind the ball. It is Orlando Pirates with the sweep.
It's the hallmark of a top team, an experienced team. The composure at 3 goals down in a game that looked like it should have been routine plain sailing. They were in for the sweep. Everything was going fine. And then we were starting to be convinced. I was feeling that game 4 was over. The first point was on the board for Orient Esports, but clearly no change from Pirates. They really didn't change up much. They just continued plucking away at it, patiently waiting for the chances to come. And when they did, they struck.
They most certainly did. Arian Esports, it is a devastating, soul-crushing loss, but if it is anything, to have a 3-0 lead against Orlando Pirates, it should be a testament that top 8 may not have been a mistake. It is a chance for them to really stake their claim in this new season of RLCS. I'm sure Graybeard has some thoughts about how this match went, and maybe even that last 45 seconds of regulation time in that game 4.
You know what? It had been such a almost regulation performance from Orlando Pirates. I think you mentioned that, Jota. But I actually made a note when Orion was 3 goals up and about a minute 10. I made a note, and the note said killer instinct, because my thinking there was, there are many reasons why I'm not a high level competitive player. One of them is I lack killer instinct. I don't like when people are down, just like kind of rubbing them in it and finishing them off, and I just wondered if there was a little bit of a lack of killer instinct in that game. I wasn't sure, was that an issue? And it's not something you need if you want to be at the top. But my word, all of 40 seconds, bang, 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 leveled up, and then they take it. So, pretty good stuff. And what it does highlight for me, Jota, is that the SSA scene starting to seem a little bit like a layer cake. You got the sort of may contain nuts and Orlando Pirates, the icing on the top, and then there's a very thick middle, and we don't know where that all shakes out. But then there is a lower section closer to the base, and maybe Orient Esports, a young team, a new team, this is going to do them well, but they've got some stepping up to do.
Yeah, I really do think this is part of their experience, and they will learn from this series, no doubt. The first competitive best of 7 they've played in a big environment. It's a different atmosphere. The first opportunity they've ever had to use a timeout in an RLCS series, and they took it nice and early, made sure to get the practice using timeouts, see how they feel, see what they can change. I mean, why not? I do think that they're criminally underused in the region as a whole. I think a lot of the teams avoid them. They prefer to keep their momentum, but look, they've got that experience, and top 8 also guarantees them a spot in the next regional as well. Top 16 locked in for that, which gives them another chance to get that through that Swiss with that experience, and maybe come back in 2 weeks' time, have another shot at the quarterfinals.
So Jota makes a great point there, Pyro. There is what I've been gratified to see is there has absolutely been improvement in this region. When we see that middle section, there's more and more players. And then Orient, almost a little bit of a glimpse of the next horizon. We're summiting our first hill. There's another hill ahead of us. Orient Esports, other young teams, and there are other people I speak to, youngsters, 14, 15 years old, who want to go pro. So that is gratifying that there's an increasing depth and potential depth within the region.
Well, think about it, right? Any other region in RLCS, every new year, there's a talk of the town, right? I'm from North America, so, when it was first Killer on the block, and now he's winning regionals with FaZe Clan. When it was Aqua, who's been kind of this star as well in some form in RLCS. Every new year, there's these players that are talked about. So why not SSA, Graybeard? Why not have these new players, these new young prodigies that are going to shake up what we know today to be the top of SSA? It should happen. That's what should put SSA on the world stage and make themselves contenders, and always pushing the ceiling from the bottom. So I agree. RN Esports could be a resemblance of exactly that. As Joe just said, they'll get another chance. Absolutely. Next regional, the way it's all going to shake up, they'll be able to get in that Swiss format again. So looking forward to what they're going to be able to come up with in the next one.
All right. Well, 2 sweeps to get us going, and I can scarcely believe we're halfway through today's bracket. 2 best of 7s down, 2 more to come, and they've been pretty quick going. The first one a little unexpected. The second one maybe a bit more, well, if not expected, not surprising. But my word, I think we have a banger of a series coming up. White Rabbit Gaming, Millennial Times Gaming. I think this might be. It has the potential to be the series of the day, and we're going to bring it to you live. All the action after this break. And we are back, exactly bang on halfway through the day's proceedings. 4 best of 7s. We've now had 2 of them. And Pyro has taken his leave. And Ultrazim, you're back. Going to be with us to the end of the day.
I'm back. I'm excited for this. Yeah, I'm excited for this. Yesterday, we got to see some amazing Rocket League action, and now we're really getting to, as you say, a little bit more of that pointy end now, getting to see some of these top teams, and what a top 8 we've had so far. I mean, we've seen some not so close competition so far today, but the other ones that we've got lined up are even closer and maybe more exciting for me personally.
All right. Well, it's been pretty quick work. We were hoping to keep things on track and on schedule. With a best of 7 starting on the hour every hour, but my word, 2 sweet certainly speeds us up. But it might be time we need, considering the matchup we've got coming up next. White Rabbit Gaming up against Millennial Times Gaming, and that's this. I mean, if there's any series, Jota, in today's lineup, this is the one that should be tense, tight, and go long.
Yeah, this one's got Game 7 written all over it for me, but I'm terribly wrong on the first prediction, so I'm ready to be terribly wrong again. But surely this one has to be the one that goes really long.
Well, it should be. Well, let's have a quick look at our bracket. So we've had 4 games on the schedule at the start, 2 of them done, 2 more to come. So we have Orlando Pirates and Reformed have secured their spot in tomorrow's semi-final. They will be duking it out for a place in the Le Big Final, and that could be juicy. I think with that we will get a real solid idea of where we stand in the region. But 2 more series coming up. Our next one, MTG, White Rabbit Gaming, and then may contain Nuts and Espionage, which we'll talk about it when we get to it, but might be interesting in its own right. But let's go to our next series, Millennial Times Gaming. For me, a dark horse and threatening to again upset the apple cart, Ultrazim, in that sort of 2-6 craziness in SSA.
Yeah, that's the thing is, Millennial Times Gaming, when you first said it on Twitter that they were one of the dark horses, I was like, solid team, like 100%. I really like the players that they've got on it. Very, very happy with what they've done. And then they started to come up against some of the big oppositions. I still thought they were going to have maybe like a top team, top 1-2 teams. I thought they were going to feature somewhere in the 3 to 5 bracket pretty solidly, but I did not think that they were going to come this close. Something like taking down Orlando Pirates 3-2. Very big accomplishment that they managed to hammer in already, and then looking very solid against everyone else. 3-2 versus Reformed and 3-1 against everyone else that they come up against. Very, very solid performance so far, and I'm very excited to see what they can do today.
All right, I'll shoot your prediction. Who takes it? The Rabbits or the Millennials?
Yes, you give this to me first up. White Rabbit Gaming, solid team, but pretty consistently solid. I think Millennial Titans Gaming has that ability, that unpredictability factor, that they could just come out of nowhere, and if it's a good day for them, they could take on pretty much anyone. I'm going with Millennial.
You, Jota. I know you're nervous about predictions now, but who? Go.
I'm sold on Millennial Times Gaming. I'm buying into the hype train for them now.
Oh, well, I wanted to, but I feel there needs to be some contrast here, some sanity prevailing. So I'm going to back White Rabbit Gaming. But over to our casters, taking it forward, Jota and Ultrazim, take it away.
Thank you, Greybeard, for that one. And little extra bit of info that I want to share. Both teams have players who've never made top 4 of a regional before. So there is guaranteed in this match someone making their personal best RLCS record.
I appreciate that, actually. Who is it from each team? I'm interested. Sweaty Clarence, I don't think, has made top 4, right? And Kino's new to the scene as well, so that would be my guess, right? Or Ram? Ram is also not there.
I think you've nailed it. So I believe it's Ram and Sweaty Clarence on their side. Neither of them have made top 4s. Only Zero has. And on the other side, Casper and Friction have made top 4s, and Kino hasn't. So 3 out of 3. Good trivia.
Welcome, guys. I've been in the scene for long enough to know these guys. But what I don't know is what's going to happen here. Because I must admit, Joda, I think Greybeard is right to give some credits to this WRG side. It's a team that I do have a lot of confidence in. And I did not want to make a prediction for this one. He managed to bait me into it. This could go either way.
Yeah, I do think the White Rabbit game might even be as far as saying they're the sensible pick.
Yeah.
That I really do find it coin tossy. It's just that MTG have started to take our hearts with 2 very good Swiss brackets so far, and maybe they're going to be far more than anyone expected them to be at the beginning of the preseason. But for now, they will have to get scrambling the ball off the line. Kino, there's another play coming in for White Rabbit Gaming. Immediate offense from them.
Very nice play from them. I know Kino's got a lot of support in chat, so to everyone here to back their boy Kino, you have chosen a very good player and a very proficient defender, especially good on offense, good on defense. And so backed up by the stalwarts of the South African scene, Friction, Casper, both proving themselves over and over. Ram coming up for the first time really into this big league is a very exciting addition to this Millennial Times Gaming. Millennial Times as an org didn't really feature that much last year, and so finding home with Zero and Sweaty Clarence, very comfortable for them. And a minute and a half in, we haven't really seen any of the goals being tested just yet.
Yeah, this could be the first ever Sweaty Clarence, as you say that, looking to fake underneath. It has been a little bit boomer ballish, both teams feeling each other out. And I do think that in a series as close as this, and they both will know that this is going to be a close, long battle, neither wants to give each other an inch. No freebies to get things started. The other thing that I just want to say really is that I'm so happy to see the whole Digital Devils team. They have all found new homes and they're all finding new success there. We shouldn't be surprised to see a whole good roster all doing well individually, but certainly for Zero, I think one of the players that was talked about less on that highly proficient Digital Devils team, showing that he's absolutely as good as his teammates were.
Well, a little bit of miscommunication comes out there, leaves Casper in a dangerous position, but everyone here from White Rabbit managing to just calm it down for a second. Little mistakes, not going to cost them just yet. Kino going up in the air, finds Friction. Oh, what an amazing save that has to be forced out from Sweaty Clarence there as WRG look to put on the first very dangerous attempt. And now it's going around the other way. Zero's put it in. Zero's put it back into his own net.
Oh, you have to stop and laugh there, otherwise you will cry. An amazing save to keep that one out. And I talked earlier about how they're not going to give away freebies. They weren't even going to give away sensational infield passes either. Only for that pre-flip, for everything to come undone. And look, when you're putting pressure on like White Rabbit were, that's the sort of goal. Like, these things happen when you get pressure. You make chances to get mistakes. But that was literally on a Millennial Times Gaming offense. Just complete collapse, a nightmare goal to concede. Plenty of time in this game left, but redemption required.
Well, it is, of course, the best of 7, so it means that a single mistake like that probably not going to be the deciding factor. Certainly not something that White Rabbit is going to be able to rely on consistently. So far, Millennial Times Gaming, other than that one moment, has looked very solid. Sweaty Clarence doing a stellar job in defense and putting some pressure on their own. Still, White Rabbit looking to carry this on, managed to get that 1-goal lead, and it's been a hard-fought goal for now, so I think they're going to be happy. We'll have to see if the rest of this game just gets decided by a single mistake, though, in the first game of the best of 7.
Yeah, and you do say that. You're right when you say Millennial Times Gaming have looked really solid on defense despite that moment, but absolutely, White Rabbit have looked like a brick wall as well. They've yet to get through them. They've only got 1 minute to do so. Otherwise, that mistake will be what settles game 1. Casper launching a ball forwards. It's now the sort of time where White Rabbit Gaming can start to relax. They play their offenses slower, knowing that every second they run down the clock is a second in their favor.
This stage, MTG only with a single shot on goal. Here comes the second one, which will be counted. They still have not had that many attempts. There's a big miss, though. Kino giving the ball over to Ram and then managing to clean up that mistake by taking out Sweaty Clarence in the center. Now looking to pick up the pass from center. It clangs off the crossbar and eventually gets sunk by Casper.
and there was a big gap in between them, but do not be fooled. That goal came directly from that demo from Kino, opening up the midfield, forcing the respawn, created a pocket of space, and boy, did they use that space well.
Using the space well, getting up that 2-goal lead now. It won't be decided, it seems, by that single mistake. It is going to be much harder, though, for Millennial Times to come back when you have to make 2 goals in 20 seconds. Zero trying to set something up now at the beginning. But MTG being turned aside at every moment so far. The pressure has been all the way of WRG. And the orange side obviously being a little bit more pressure now. Zero looking to come back, trying to shut off Weecasper. He will do it, but it's going to be too little, too late, as by a 2-goal deficit, it is going to be White Rabbit Gaming taking this first game.
Yeah, and if you think about it, really, at best, if we try to find errors in White Rabbit, we can maybe point out one mistouch, which then literally led to them scoring. So they looked really solid that game. That is quite the warning shot to come out with, and I apologize for Dare suggesting that they weren't the exciting pick coming into this one.
When you say the safe pick, though, I never thought it as a team that's boring to watch. I thought it as a team who can consistently put on that pressure, who can consistently look dangerous. And look at that, 10 shots coming out cumulatively from this WRG side. The pressure was there, the passing plays, all of them coming up with some creativity. Weecasper deciding to go through the air. The passes are coming out there. Kino managing to pick up on that one. And then obviously passing it back to Weecasper, who was the person to finish it off. Friction doing stalwart at the back. In fact, the one with the most shots in the front line. All of this WRG side is coming and firing well today. And we said that MTG had the opportunity to be the dark horse. And if they were playing well, they're not playing badly. They've got the saves, but they really need to transition into a bit more of an offense.
They really do. And White Rabbit Gaming, they just played such balanced Rocket League. I think really is the way to describe it.
Yeah.
They were not excessive chasing demos. They were not excessive playing for boost. They were not going for crazy mechanical things massively, but they're just not making mistakes. And playing against a team like that, it's going to be really difficult for Millennial Times Gaming to break down, because they cannot just put some pressure on, wait for mistakes to happen. It's not a viable strategy. They're going to need to make something happen, whether that is by ripping them open with demos or creative solo plays or really slick passes. The bar has been set. They're going to need to do something creative if they want to break through.
Oh, 100%. I think that waiting against a team like White Rabbit is a very dangerous option, because they are there to challenge you at every moment. They're going to be coming for any loose ball. They have the confidence to try for those 50-50s to create something. They're going to go up into the air very quickly and try and make something happen with their mechanical prowess. And so any moment that you're not challenging the ball as hard as they are going to be ripping that game away from you at every stage and leaving you on the back foot. This is bad, though. That touch off the backboard just was not there. It was a beautiful pass across the field. Friction getting it high. And Sweaty Clarence is being stalwart up there for now, but lets it drop down into the wetting arms of Weecasper, who sinks it home.
Yeah, and that's what we talk about with the White Rabbit being consistent and not making mistakes. Friction in his own corner, one touch up, and the huge booming clear. He gets such a solid connection on that. And his teammates knew he would. They were already pushing forward. They had full trust in him to do so. This could be the creative prowess, though. Zero with the doink. Surely not. Sweaty and Ram all confused into the post. That was their golden ticket back into this.
Man, you could see it. That touch coming across there from Zero was perfect. It baited out both of the defenders. It left it in the open, and I think that how opportune that moment was is what created that consternation between the other two players. They were like, this is our moment. Someone has to get on the back of this. Someone has to sink this. And they both end up getting in each other's way. Neither one manages to sink it. And it was the best opportunity here that Millennial Times has had. And they put it awry. Now facing onto the onslaught from WRG. And it's going to have to be MTG doing more work. Zero setting up something here in the center, but nothing coming out of it just yet.
Yeah, but you can see now they're looking for the passes. This time they landed, and not just any landing. Top corner, 113 from Sweaty. If he had that 100 times in training, you're not going to put it better than that in any of the 100. That is top-notch finishing. That's what it takes If a team is really solid, they're playing well defensively, you just have to shoot perfectly when you get your chances.
Once again, Zero being the person to instigate those plays, coming out there with a beautiful pass towards the center, like you say. And that is a training shot. When Zero can put it that easily in front of you, you've got no attackers, or at least no defenders trying to shut you down. You've got that space. Still, beautiful placement, like you say. Beautiful power. That's what you should be training. If anyone's busy trying their flip resets and their double touch and their backboard reads, make sure you can hit shots like that time after time, because that is what defines a good Rocket League player, in my opinion.
And it was such an important moment to get it, because the miss earlier will have been tilting. Nothing short after players of this quality. It would have been so frustrating to not score that equalizer. So to get it back in that fashion, a real good head leveler. And you can see what it's done for them immediately. Straight back on the offense. They look revitalized right now. And that ball going all the way around. Zero not able to score, but they continue to knock on the door off the backboard again. They do not look anything like the Millennial Times we saw in Game 1.
100%. You have hit the nail on the head there. The mentality is different now for Millennial Times. They've realized how important it is to come in there. The pass towards the center. The shot is there. It has been Millennial Times hanging around this blue goal for ages, trying time and time again, creating consternation, making opportunities, and eventually beating it out through pure brute force past the two defenders.
Yeah, that one was not the pretty finish. It was not the spectacular display from the last time. That was just pure volume of shots, meant eventually one of them had to get through the defenders, unsettled low on boost from all the previous efforts. It does finally make its way through. And that is a wholly deserved lead from Millennial Times. You feel this is not a game that they've stolen. They've looked better now, but they cannot afford to let off here. 1 minute 30 to go, still plenty of time for White Rabbit to get back into this. They need to keep their foot on the throats if they're to take this one.
Oh, 100%. But you're right that this has been a different mentality. It's interesting to see that Millennial Times at the end of the game only had 2 or 3 shots by the end of it. They've already gone up to 7 compared to the only 3 of W1G. So the tempo has completely turned around. Oh, and the bump on rotations out there. Beautiful play. Sweaty Clarence popping it into the corner there, doing enough work to keep following it up. It was actually Ram that goes there for that demo and gets the extra defender out of the way. Crunch down. Zero manages to slot it through. The team unison to get a 2-goal lead.
Yeah, Ram by name, Ram by nature, blasting through the defense indiscriminately. First demo and the second bump. Really good from them. And this is why we were high on MTG. We were hyping them up and we said they can do this, and that is why you must never count out White Rabbit. Kino so consistently fast up to the ball, gets there early, just off the edge of the post. He did not have much angle to work with there. He finds it, and still there is no moment to breathe for Millennial Times Gaming. They cannot afford to lift off their 2-goal lead straight back to 1. They need to continue this offensive play if they want to hold on to the lead.
100%. Great read at pace from Kino there. And this is why we were saying at the beginning, this is going to be a difficult series for both these teams. It's going to be a difficult series for us to predict. And clashing. MTG back into the attack now, testing friction on the back line, who has to come off the wall. Sweaty Clarence up to this one, pops out. Ram's up for this. He's going to send her back towards the center. A very calm moments coming out there from the WRG defense. Popped up high. Kino's going to test Ram at the back line. Wee Casper was there to meet it. Zero now trying to contest it on the wall, and back and forth this goes. WRG, 10 seconds left on the clock. They would love to take a second game in a row, but it may just level out. 3, 2, 0 back on the offense, trying for the musty flick just to end it in style. But it is going to be a level series. Millennial Times Gaming takes game number 2.
And you know what that means? As early as this, we officially have it. We have broken the sweeps for the day. We can promise you we will not be heading that direction. And, of course, no reverse sweep either. We can't have any other flavor of sweep too. And this really is teeing up to be a cracker.
Man, I just come in for like 3 seconds and we're already back out of this. We're tired of the boring Rocket League. We're tired of the one-sided. We're here to see an amazing clash. And what a performance these two teams are coming in there. This time, Millennial Times grabbing the game by the throat and coming in and saying, we're going to put in our 10 shots this time. WRG taking the defensive line. and still putting on a couple of good attempts forwards. But you got to say, even with this close scoreline, it was a much more MTG tempoed game.
Yeah, the question is now, how do White Rabbit adapt? I think that they're going to have to start taking significantly softer touches. The game one, they were relying on hard booming hits to just get rid of the ball frequently, put MTG under pressure, get big clearances out, and then just hard shots, launch them at net. I think this game, they're going to be forced to vary things up. They're going to need to look for more solo dribble plays, more infield passes if they want to keep it, because it does seem that, like, Millennium Times Gaming, they're not scared of the long booming balls anymore.
No, 100%. And it's an interesting case. Oh, Ram going in there, living up to his name, trying to get those demos to the back line, but unable to. And in fact, it's Kino going to start us off with some violence, and Ram has to do some work to try and get it out the corner. Does enough. Like you say, though, those long booming clears, the soft touches, that change in pace, the change in tempo, and the emphasis on control and possession is such an important meta game that these two teams need to factor in, because I think for both teams, the fact that if you give away the ball to your opponents at any stage, they could do so much with it, has got to be weighing on your mind.
Yeah, the MTG periods of play last game, they were able to lock them in for whole minutes, sometimes a minute and a half, just out of one play. It really seemed once they got settled in on offense, they were able to just hunker down and wait for White Rabbit to get starved to boost and then strike. So that is the warning for White Rabbit. They cannot afford to let Millennial Times Gaming get settled down onto any of these offenses. And that means as soon as one starts to form, they need to challenge early, defensive demos, early 50-50s. They just need to get in their face and be a real nuisance. You see Friction playing that role there. He does not let them get past the midfield line.
I like the different strategies. I don't know if you've noticed, Joda, about the different mentalities these two teams have come in there. Whereas White Rabbit is much more the technically skilled plays. You know, you got Kino and Wee Casper trying for these air dribbles, trying to take it up high on the wall and playing stuff like this. Beautiful air drag and then getting it towards the center.
Command.
On command. Whenever they get the ball, they're just like, yep, you know, I'm going to touch this 20 times before you do again. And whereas the destruction, the physicality, that passing play emphasis, and that hammer it time and time, win by a game of inches and rather than miles, is what this Millennial Times seems to be doing to me. And I don't know which one I prefer.
I do think part of it from MTG comes from the roles that these players played on their rosters last season. They were all sort of the support character. None of them were really the main character of their team that statistically we talked about a lot. They weren't the ones hammering in all the goals, getting all the points. Because of that, they're used to playing supporting each other. That being said, Sweaty Clarence will need no help on that one. Off the ceiling, back down to himself, and the placement to match.
That read off the ceiling is a very, very tricky shot on its own. And to be able to get that into an impressive shot, they're not just the touch, an amazing play from Sweaty Clarence. He's done so well on defense, and it's so nice to see him be able to transition around. White Rabbit now trying to set up an equally offensive, and Sweaty Clarence is there. Talking about being equal to it, that man is everywhere. The demo comes out. Ram, you talked about the defensive demos that WRG might have to use. They could take a page out of Ram's book.
They really could. Wee Casper, another great touch from him. Really opening up the play. There's permanent danger, really, at both ends of the pitch. You can never settle down and be comfortable because it's one creative touch away from unraveling. Casper does have the answer to it that time, though. White Rabbit defense is still strong. Even when they're conceding, they are still looking consistent. They aren't conceding any cheap goals. Every attempt has to be of the caliber that Clarence's stubble was.
Now getting dispossessed on the wall. Wee Casper going to try and read this. Doesn't get a good touch. Friction is there, but Ram up to the task. And it's amazing to me to see how well these defenders are reading this ball. They understand when to go on the back four. They get themselves up with their pre-jumps consistently from both sides to be able to get up to this. And in fact, the double play there from the orange team to not go for the shots was kind of creating some frustration in the back line. Zero now trying to test it out. He's beaten Friction, who was last man back. Wee Casper rotating around. Kino taken out of the play. But it is going to be Wee Casper doing a good job to get it down to the other side of the field and release the pressure.
Yeah, and it's partly the benefits of a long off season, partially just hard work. But neither of these teams really look like you expect a Regional 1 team to look, right? A new roster Regional 1, they shouldn't be so on lock and synergizing, but they are. Both of them look like it's the end of the season.
100%. I mean, this looks like teams that have been playing together for ages, and yet not a single team from SSA has stuck together as a full three-man unit. And to see, like you say, the synergy that's come out from multiple teams, the individual skill that's progressed, the ability to read the game from every player just seems to have doubled or tripled in this 4-month break. And I'm just so excited that the level of SSA Rocket League is catching up to the world stages at leaps and bounds.
Yeah, seeing the growth is really good. Ram, his growth probably not such a nice sign for White Rabbit Gaming. He's a player on this team really that has the least accolades so far. He does not look at all out of place in this lobby as they get themselves halfway towards top 4.
Wow, just the single goal here in game number 3. It has been a big clash in the previous 2, but just the single goal here. Massive work coming out from Ram on all the demos. 3 saves to his name as well. Sweaty Clarence with that beautiful solo goal. And both teams taking less shots here. WRG finally managing to pip out that number of shots advantage, but not by a lot, just 6-4. Both of them just kind of tempoing it down a little bit, Jota?
Yeah, I think both are starting to settle into this. And sort of like last game, I think MTG caught White Rabbit by surprise with just how hard they came out of the gates and how strongly they were able to maintain offenses. That was sort of the warning shot. White Rabbit have adjusted to it, but ultimately when a team is playing really well, there is no adjustment that just solves your problems and makes you start beating them again. So they've adjusted to it. That game, to me, was pretty much as 50-50 coin toss as they come.
It really was. Just a single impressive goal there. And WRG had some testing moments there. They were putting on some great shots. They got the passes together. A little bit less of the back and forth passing plays that we are used to seeing from them, but not afraid to get creative, get up into that air, try and pop something out of the corner to teammates who are still waiting there. The rotations are still looking solid from both sides. And I'm very glad this is a best of 7, not just a best of 5, because even if Millennial Times take this next game, oh no, Kino, he's just not able to get it out to the side. It bounces off the side here. Sweaty Clarence going to get the credit for this one. Just a pinch of friction. Kino, that bounce off the side there, that is cruel and malicious.
And with how low scoring these games have been, that could matter so much more than a normal mistake or a normal kickoff goal could. You really do feel that could be so important as this game gets into the later stages, and it immediately puts White Rabbit on the back foot, 1 game behind and 1 goal behind, and nearly 2 there. The crossbar, their only friend in that moment of need.
How did neither of those go in there? Kino now doing the work, but Millennial Times had 2 fantastic opportunities, and they tried their hardest to make them count. Both of them just a little awry, and it means that White Rabbit somehow stick to just the 1 goal deficit. They might be able to turn around now. Kino takes the shot, and he sinks it home.
You cannot help but think how different this would be had that shotgun crossbar down only 10 seconds ago. They could have been 2-0 up in the game, cruising towards a 3-1 lead to 3 match points. Instead, we are straight back level. So important to get back into games quickly. The longer you let a team settle down on the lead, the more they get into their rhythm. So getting that equalizer as quickly as they did is a huge boost for White Rabbit.
I think they're going to be very, very happy. You know, a couple of games without scoring is not a mentality you want to be in. 5 minutes denied in that previous game, and managed to pick up their first goal in a while. Now they're back onto the offensive. Casper testing the back line well, forcing out more good saves from Sweaty Clarence. Now Ram going to try to slow it down. Let's go the ball a little bit too far. Kino pops it up. This is a dangerous position. Sweaty Clarence manages to get away with Casper missing that transition play. Still, though, this WRG side seems to have been revitalized. They're cramping up the orange goals and not letting this ball get past the halfway. I say that, though, the clear comes out with a bomb from Ram.
Yeah, we're starting to get to the point where both teams are able to deal with each other's attacks strongly and well and forcing great things to come out. But also, the other element that gives is it puts so much more emphasis on counterattacks here. Zero looking to make one happen himself. It really does seem that both teams' best outlet for goals at this moment in time is counterattacks.
Counterattacks are good, and with their ability to destabilize their opponents that Ram gives them, Millennial Times has done well on that. When you've only got 1 or 2 people coming back, then you are able. Wah! He's not just on the counterattacks, he's not just on the demos. He sets up that first shot, tests the defenders, and leaves it open. Friction does an amazing job to get to this the first time, but there's such a quick attack there that Zero placing that second shot sends it home.
Yeah, RLCS is such a tough world. Friction gets absolutely no reward for a brilliant save there. The goal will count just the same as any other. As if he had missed that save, it would have been the same outcome. Frustrating position to be in, but that's the consequence of a team having players ready to back up for the next play. And Kino nearly getting caught out there. Very important he got back onto this half flip. Falling 2 goals behind. Could have been the death wish to seal them out the series. Instead, half the game to go, only 1 behind, and one moment of magic it could be. Casper off the ceiling, nearly providing it instantly.
Oh, first shot just testing there. The defenders, Ram does well to get to that, and transition, it has someone back there. Sweaty Clarence coming through, and it's like I've been saying the whole weekend, it's not necessarily the first shot that always makes the difference. You've got to have 2, 3, 4 more shots in the bag if you're a really good team right now, and both these teams managing to do that. It is Millennial Times giving this away though, opening up the opportunity. Kino gets the pass, and Casper makes no mistake. Millennial Times just giving it away in the center. A little bit of miscommunication between Zero and Sweaty Clarence, and WRG bring it back to a level game.
Yeah, we talked about one moment of magic, something special to make it happen. That pass was top-notch. The finish had to be placed opposite corner too, but he didn't have much to do with the finish, frankly. The pass did most of the work for him. Back level again. This game is going to be so decisive in the series. We're either going to be level or 3 match points, and 1.5 minutes to go. You feel the next goal could mean everything. Casper nearly delivering a bullet to get that next goal.
It almost doesn't seem right for this to go to a 3-1 series already. Oh, the test comes out. MTG denied twice in a row. Beautiful attempt. Zero's got flip reset, if I'm not mistaken. Decides to just put it down to the side. Can't get back around the ball. Millennial Times, though, want to get that lead back. They've got a minute left, so it's not panic stations just yet for either team, but the tempo definitely increasing for both sides.
Yeah, you see the Ram demo there. Going to cause some more distress on the defense, forcing them to cover the gaps. The infield pass to try punish forces a double commit, but you can get away with double committing when you land a 50-50 that good.
Talking about 50-50s, Friction trying to create something there. Zero and Sweaty Clarence both going up for it. Maybe baiting out a bit of defenders, but neither gets a good touch. Still back towards Ram in the center. Kino makes an important save. Friction has work to do on the wall. Can't get anything out of this. Now Casper again. Friction just too far to contribute to the play. It's up to Kino to send it long. He's given away possession. Ram wants to send it back. We've got 20 seconds left here in regulation time. MTG has the offensive. White Rabbit wants to give their last shot at this as well. Casper hands it off backwards. Friction taken out before he can make a play. And it still could be anyone's game at any second right now.
Yeah, and some teams focus on backboard and infield passes and waiting for their moment to shoot. These two teams are both just trying to smash each other up with shots. It is 14 shots to 12. We have 14 saves in 5 minutes. 14.
How is this the same two teams that just had a 1-goal game between them right now? And Joda, you as the Queen of Destruction herself must be loving the number of demos that come out, but it's not going to be a demo that decides at this time. The pass towards the center. Casper unable to clear it a long way down the wall or follow it up. And what a pass from Sweaty Clarence. 2 defenders there, crisscrossing the goals. And the chomping monster signals 1 step closer for MGG to take this series. They're 3-1 up already.
But what did I say? I said it's not been infield passes, it's not been backboards, it's all been shots to try and open them up. And that's when they switch things up and go for the infield. The defenders were sitting deep. You could see 2 of them posturing on the line. they were getting ready to face a shot because they've had to face so many shots in this game. The play has been so direct from MTG that White Rabbit were posturing forward. And then they changed it up that one time. And it's that changeability, change of pace, change of offensive strategy that bought them the space, opened it up. And that being said, though, it still required a top finish from Zero.
Oh, man, how many top finishes have we seen that have still been denied, though? These shots are coming in thick and fast. I mean, like you say, what's it, 13 shots to 14 shots there at the end there. MTG actually on the deficit of that. And still 6 saves coming out from Sweaty Clarence. 6 saves. Double savior medal for him to come through there. Gets all the maximum points for the team. But close series, close games. And I still want this to go to game 5. I kind of want White Rabbit to take it in the next one just because we're getting to see the level of Rocket League that these two teams are coming out there, the depth of their arsenals, of the tricks and the variability of their approaches that they're able to pull out constantly.
Yeah, and they may just have a few more tricks up the sleeves. Another White Rabbit in the hat, if you will. They're going for a timeout, facing 3 match points. This is the time that they've chosen to pull the trigger, take that extra minute break to talk things through. It's going to be a tough one to talk out because I feel that the meeting's kind of going to be, well, we're playing pretty well, to be honest. Like, what do you say in there if you're them, other than keep it going? Hopefully the luck will land our way next time.
I mean, this is where you really need a good coach on the back line who's been able to watch this and try and come up with some brand new strategy, because right now, what more do you really want? If you're WRG, you're getting that control of the ball. Maybe in the last 2 games, giving away possession a little bit too much. They're being tested so badly on defense that they're just not able to get those passes together like I touched on earlier. But it's not through lack of trying. It's not through lack of 50-50s. There's just been such an intensity brought out here by Millennial Times in the last few games that there isn't really the space to try and control the tempo as much as White Rabbit would like to. And they're a very tempo-based team where if they can just remove the ball from any reach of their opponents, they can do wondrous things. It's going to be up to them now to try and wrestle the ball away and then create something with people like Ram trying to hammer it home on you, or hammer you rather, constantly, time after time.
Yeah, speaking of Ram, I mean, if you try and cast your mind back 10 months, any old-time SSA fans back in the first split, it's hard to imagine if you went back and told yourself, or even told him back then, you went to Team Aufbau with Ram, just finished up full Regional 3, coming 12th to 14th, and said, by the way, in 10 months' time, you're going to be on 3 match points to be in top 4. I don't think anyone could have expected him to be there, and that really is a testament to how much the mid-pack is closing up. Not even necessarily in teams, but in terms of players. There are players that nobody considered to be of top quality that you have to stand up and applaud now, and that could have been the clincher had it not rolled just wide, the clear going all the way through, not quite finding it this time.
Yeah, you're 100% right. The depth of the players base in SSA has been huge. We used to have, 5-10 amazing players at the top, and then everyone else was starting to get into it. And the motivation that these players have taken from having an SSA Rocket League, an RLCS spot, has given them the drive to fight it out. Sweaty Clarence, Zero, all of the players on this field have come through. Like we said, half of this pitch has not made top 4 previously, and yet every single one of them seems to be deserving it right now. Sweaty Clarence looking for a sneaking shot under the bottom there, Zero having been denied previously. And I would say that any of these 6 players would have very comfortably been in the top 4 of last year had they played this well.
They do both look real top quality. Looking to make something happen, prove himself some more. Going for the bumps again. It's a scourge of aggressive play. White Rabbit have been dodging it for now, but they do not look comfortable. You see Kino waiting deep in net. It's an unusual position to posture, but I think he's forcing himself to play a bit deeper into net, hiding around the posts, because that's the issue, right? When you have a team that's so aggressive, you start assuming that they're always going to be there behind you. And then even when they're not going and demoing, the demos are having an impact. Yeah,
you've got to be always with one eye to the side there. Now Kino taking, that was Wee Casper taking a page out of this MTG book there, trying to go for a demo themselves. So far, though, this MTG side playing so closely together, never in each other's way, but always there to back each other up and not afraid to change up their pacing. There is Sweaty Clarence trying to get it out there. Pinches it back towards his teammate. Actually just squeaks it past Wee Casper, who was challenging it out there. 3 minutes, though, on the clock, or taken off the clock now. We've only had a total of eight shots by both teams. And still, neither one managing to find it out. Somehow, Sweaty Clarence does enough to deny Friction. Heartbreak once more for both these teams, and then nearly slots it down to the other side of the field. Both teams want this opening goal because you feel like it may just be the one goal that determines it.
Yeah, and of course, being on match point, MTG are playing so patiently. They know they just need to wait for that one opportunity. There's no need to rush it. And if they take that opportunity when it comes, that is series done. On the other hand, White Rabbit also somehow like opposite situation, yet same outcome, where because they're facing match point, they know that they can't afford to give anything away. So they're also playing cautious, waiting for the moment to strike. Both teams have taken that strike and hit the inside of the post so far, waiting for that next big opportunity to deliver. It won't come for Ram here. He gets lost, actually. That could give a quick counter to White Rabbit. Friction up, doesn't get the double, though. It's really just these half chances. And the later this game gets on, the more we get towards that cliched big mistake or moment of brilliance. And more often than not, it comes down to a big mistake, it has to be said. And in this situation, so much pressure mounting now.
It's been remarkable, though. The pressure's there for both sides. Like you say, those mistakes are so pivotal. What a 50! What a 50 from Sweaty Clarence to just pinch that through there. And once more, this MTG side backing each other so well that Ram instantly, with the momentum, comes through past, manages to pick up that ball, and there's no one left at home for WRG. The counterattack too quick. And 31 seconds left on the board is all WRG has to try and stay in this and fight for that top 4 position.
Yeah, if you're really harsh on it, you think maybe the White Rabbit Gaming players should have tried to just lose the 50-50 into the corner to make sure they didn't give a shooting chance. But who in their right mind 20 seconds ago goes, yeah, you know what? I want to lose this 50-50 instead of try and win it. He really believed in himself, and I believed him in him too, until Sweaty Clarence descended from the heavens.
Last moment here for WRG. Kino tries to pinch it up. It's going to ricochet off there. It's coming towards the orange goal. Friction's up in the air. Tries to make one more happen, but he can't get it to pop out. It is going to be MTG in a 4-1 victory. They lost the first game. Managed to pull it back, though. And with a plum, that 4-1 does not tell the full story of how close this game actually was. But I think that MTG going to be very ecstatic with how this final score looks like for themselves.
Yeah, being able to get a series of this quality and closeness done in a 4-1 is a real testament to the level that they're playing at here. And they get a position that some wouldn't envy because they're most likely to get May Contain Nuts in the semi-final. But for them, it's a free hit. They have now achieved it. They are playing the Rocket League of their lives. They're going to be wearing a huge smile, feeling themselves. And they've already locked in all the points that they want. Top 4 guarantees that even if they lose this, they're going to be on the edge, that fighting spot. Of course, 2 world spots still. And from everyone I talk to in the region, that second spot is wide open for a team like Millennial Times Gaming to sneak into.
Yeah, they've been looking stellar from the beginning. They've been that dark horse. They've come through. Sweaty Clarence and Ram both getting their personal bests already. And so even if they go out on 4th, definitely not a bad thing there. Let's get back to Greybeard and find out what he thought of this incredible clash.
Amazing series. You know, my first thought is, you know, the highs and the lows of any competitive endeavor. And it is the human nature for us to compete for these things. It used to be very savage and bloody if we go far back enough in time, and it takes many forms in sports. But man, I feel for White Rabbit Gaming. They've been working, they've been grinding. They took VS Gaming. They were top seeds coming into this tournament after the qualifiers. They would have backed themselves to go top 4, and to fall short and go out top 8. They've got to be so frustrated. But Casper, Kino, Friction, we know they'll be back. They've locked themselves in for next regional, and they'll come out swinging. But my goodness, Millennial Times Gaming, I feel a little bit blindsided, if I'm honest, because with all the off-season action and talk, and these guys are trying out for this, these guys are retiring, so much was going on. These are names that weren't in my radar outside of Zero. Zero was on the radar of Apex. He was trying out there, maybe he was going there. But Sweaty and Ram, I mean, these are players I know. I like them. I've always thought that they were good players, but not on the radar. They come in, and what a pickup from the org, Millennial Times. I don't know if they've gotten incredibly lucky or if they saw something that other people didn't, but what a pickup, what a team, and to now find themselves top 4. Outstanding work. And I guess they're no longer dark horses. They're now proper contenders, Jota.
Yeah, as I said, after the second Swiss, I was like, okay, this isn't a flash in the pan. They're the real deal. That was my opinion then. I think it's everyone's opinion now that they're the real deal. And it's, you have to be scared. I think the first warning sign was Zero taking this roster, as you said, trying out with teams like Apex. He had lots of people, very established names he wanted to team with him. He tried this trio and said, this is what I want. He didn't want the prestige names. He wanted Sweaty and Ram, who obviously both have solid prestige, but they're not the first, they're not the biggest, most glamorous picks of people who he would have had available. So the fact that he chose them shows very clearly that they immediately clicked. He must have seen something that he thought, you know what, this team is going to be the one. I have faith in them, and clearly a very good pickup.
And then Alt, I mean, it wasn't a sweep, but it was the next best thing, 3-1. But you made the point, and I think it was true. It was a lot closer, and I was thrilled. We got to see Wasteland. It was looking a little dusty. We haven't been there in a while, so we at least went a little bit of a way. But MTG just able to keep themselves a little bit ahead the whole way through.
And it didn't look like that was a certainty at any stage. Even when they had a 2 or 3 goal lead, White Rabbit was there close behind them, looking to hit those shots in there. It just seemed that the pace wasn't there from White Rabbit. I don't think it was them taking their foot off the accelerator. I think that they just didn't have that extra pace that caught Millennial Times in that first game. It was very much in the first game that White Rabbit was taking the ball away from Millennial Times. Millennial Times was kind of standing back, waiting to see what their opponents could do. And I don't know who made the call, whether it was a coach decision or just a good team rallying to pull together and go like, okay, we need to step up. And the ability to then step up and actually keep up with that pace, take the ball away, focus on their own gameplay from MTG. Fantastic leadership coming through there. Great maturity from a relatively inexperienced team. And the fact that we've now got teams that can come together like this and show that we have such a great ability to find the team that fits yourself. Jota just touched on it, that Zero came in here with these 2 new players and went, it's not that any of us have been bad players before. We just needed to find the right connection, the right unity, and that right game plan that works for all of us.
All right, well, 3 of the 4 semi-final slots have been filled. 1 more to be decided. May contain nuts. MCN up against a resurging, I guess, Espionage team. That coming up next. A tough battle for Espionage. Can they make a gargantuan upset? Well, let's see how that plays out after the break. And we're back slightly early. The clock was taking too long to count to zero, so we bullied our way onto the desk. Here we are back. 3 out of 4 series done. The last slots in those semi-final to be decided may contain nuts up against Team Espionage. And a couple of things I want to say before I throw to the desk is, first of all, Snowy has made 295 appearances in RLCS, which must mean that Darth must be the same. I know they had a sub for one game. I don't know. We know for sure Snowy's 295. So there is the potential of tomorrow, if they get through to the semis, of them hitting 300 appearances. So that's a pretty cool stat.
Is that individual? Is that games or
Yes,
actual like series?
Individual games. Yes.
Individual games. There we
So
go.
it could happen today then, maybe.
Well, it could happen. Yeah. Well, so that brings up the next point, which if it's not a sweep, it could actually happen today for sure. And both teams have interesting characters. Snowy, been around a long time, has mostly let his skill do the talking, but hasn't gone out of his way to make friends by and large. But he's backed it up with some skill, with some very good skill, and has been top of SSA Rocket League for many years. Then on the other side, on Team Espionage, we have Olympic, who often probably lets his mouth get ahead of his brain too often, and didn't have the skill to back it up. But I have to say, with him, in the last several months, I've seen him working really hard, A, on his game, B, on himself, working to be better at the game and to be better as a person within the community. And, in our efforts, we often fail in our moves in that direction. But I have to say, been impressed with how they've played. And already they've achieved their first target, Ultrazim, which is to make top 8.
Yep. Olympic has been someone, I mean, he and I have even had our little clash where I'm like, bro, why? What is this from? And we came back afterwards and it was like, it's all in jest, it's all good. And he does mean it like that. But like you say, his skill is now there that I don't think anyone can scoff now and call him out, because he is here. He's in this top 8. And I'm sorry, still a team that could deserve that top 4 spot. I think it's difficult to say who exactly deserves it. I think it's going to be very difficult to get there today, but top 8 is still nothing to scoff at. Really good team, and Olympic has been a pivotal part of that. He's been doing fantastically, probably the top goal scorer. In fact, I'm almost certain it's the top goal scorer here for Team Espionage, doing fantastically well in the defenses, leading the team with a lot of aplomb. And so the real maturity of someone like that coming into the community has been so nice to watch since last year.
And then Jota, Olympic will not be shy to tell you about they had a best of 5 against May Contain Nuts in the qualifier, which they ultimately lost. They took a game off them though, and every other game went to 1 goal, and Olympic will. So, I think he recognizes the tough spot they're in, but there's a determination and a little bit of confidence there that maybe, just maybe, they cause an upset, and I don't know if there's a world that happens today.
Yeah, you talked about how different personality-wise Snowy and Olympic are, but they do share a couple of key things, and that is a real passion for the game and a real confidence, a quiet belief and a fight. And that is what you need. If you're ever going to make an upset, you have to believe in yourself. And what that 3-1 loss did for them definitely helps. They know that, okay, they're behind. We all knew they were going to be behind May Contain Nuts realistically. But it showed to them, proved to themselves that the gap isn't so big that it's impossible. They know that they're not turning up to get swept out. And it can help them come in with confidence and belief. And we saw it before. If you come in as an underdog, okay, maybe I'm going to get slandered for labeling Reformed as an underdog when I did. But look, when you come in, it's so important to have confidence, believe in yourself as a team, and get them unsettled early. And I do think that is an ingredient that Espionage definitely have. Is it enough to take it to May Contain Nuts? That I'm a lot less confident to say, but they definitely have the confidence needed to step in and bring a fight.
All right. Well, prediction, Jota, having gone through that very long speech.
Yeah, I'm going with may contain nuts. Like maybe one day, but I don't think today. I think they need to lose to them a few more times first before they can overcome that hurdle and get a surprise.
All right, fine. Well, that'll be all from Jota. Thanks for coming out to hang and casting and giving us your insight. And to bring you the last game, myself and Ultrazim will head into the booth. And Ultrazim, there's two pressures going on, or lack thereof. Espionage know they're the underdogs, and there's a certain freedom that comes with that. You know, where the weight of expectation isn't on your shoulders. On the other side, though, may contain nuts. They're supposed to be the big super team, the one that's going to dominate all dominations. How do those factors, are they at play here, and how do they impact things?
Let's be fair. Even when this was still the old Orlando Pirates side, they were always the team with the target on their back, where even if they didn't take it series as cleanly as everyone thought they should, people still hammered them. And so I think that someone, for at least Snowy and Darth, they have been used to having a big target on their back. They're used to being the team that everyone's waiting and to see when they're going to lose. And so that's, okay. I don't think it'll change their psychology that much. It will be an interesting test. They would like to take this as a 4-0 sweep as we get into game number 1. I think if Espionage could take a game, that would be fitting for them. I think if they can take 2, they've done exceptionally well. But for now, it's all on the side here of this may contain nuts side to prove that we are the super team that everyone has been predicting the whole time. And they would love to clean it out with a 4-0 at the end of this.
And in a almost a tradition with this team, or with a Snowy team, is when they do give up games, it tends to be the first one, and that's been true through the qualifiers and in the Swiss stage. So the best chance for Espionage to get a game is going to be, may contain nuts are going to get better and better through the series.
Oh, yeah. You know, they've always got something else that you can pull out of that back pocket. You've got more tricks that you can do. You can get your synergy as they start to read it. They're a team that adapts very well to what your opponents are doing. And so you're right that this first game, especially if this Espionage side can pick it up quickly, get some sort of very nice quick play that's just not expected, because you're not going to get away with the same tricks over and over against May Contain Nuts.
All right, well, I guess the first surprise, and I did notice it last night as well, is that Snowy actually has a decal. He's got the neural decal. He's not a fan of the cosmetics, is Snowy, but we see him in a decal tonight. And I'm not sure the reason, but make of that what you will. But here we are, over a minute and a half in. We're yet to see an opening goal, and that's got to be good. That's got to make Espionage feel a little good, like they can hold their own out there.
Yeah, 100%. I think every moment that this team is learning something, adapting, holding their own against a top team like this is a good sign for them. Double commit comes out to the back line, but nothing that's going to be punished right now. And that's what I think as Espionage you need to be focusing on throughout the series, is what can you do well? What can you get right? If you get punished once or twice, or if this may contain nuts side does outplay you, you just shake it off and you go, all right, that's fine. We were expecting to lose this. And that's why I say, even just taking a single game, you can learn something out of it and learn over and over and over. Snowy trying to test the backboard there, but still 2.5 minutes is a good sign for Espionage.
Yeah, and it is, and being in a best of 7, there's a bit of time to get settled. But it will be, the Nuts team will not enjoy going such a long distance without scoring.
Let's see what they tried. I certainly don't think it'll make them change how they're going to approach this. Kind of sitting back a little bit right now, not wanting to overpressure their opponents and overcommit themselves. A nice little fake out there. But it is a play style that we're so used to seeing from this May Contain Nuts, is that they like overcommitting a little bit or pushing very hard when they're on the aggressive. So for now, just respecting their opponents, realizing that there is a long way that they need to go in this tournament. Let's just play the more passive game. You know, holding someone like to die for deep like they just did is a sign that they're not ready to take away credit from their opponents for now, I would say.
All right, well, 90 seconds to go. We're still looking for an opening goal. And I've been trying to figure out who this Lore 6S is. It must be Siphon. Balam was subbing in last night, and I'm thinking that it has to be Siphon. Back in the main roster, we're going to see the first goal. Darth gets it in, and it became courtesy, or at least assisted by, a demo here. Olympic realizing the danger, trying to book his way back to the goal line, and is removed.
At the end of the day, still a very nice touch there from Garth to read it out of the corner. Not an easy shot at the best of times, but he just makes it look like that. And like you say, oh, that's a better goal. That's a lovely goal. The pass from Garth now. Just the whole pace of this MCN line coming up there. The 1-2 play coming out from the corner, and Tadaipo intercepting it in the center.
All right, one goal leads to another, as is the Rocket League way. And suddenly, just like that, May Contain Nuts 2 goals in front. And looking good to take game one, unless... I thought that was going to be a third, unless Espionage can find a way to turn it around. And what worked quite well in other games, admittedly not against this team, was Olympic. Olympic did such a great job of disrupting play upfield, and then Boyd taking on the job as striker. He just scored. He couldn't stop scoring last night. So we're going to want to see a lot of that from him, and combined with the work of Olympic up front.
Oh, 100%. I think the true measure of how well this Espionage side is doing is how well they can keep on consistent pressure against a team like May Contain Nuts. You know, May Contain Nuts very good at relieving that, throwing it to the other side of the field, using mechanical skill to drag it through the air and just get themselves out of trouble. If Espionage can get a good offense running and push time after time, get a couple of the shots. I mean, I've been harping on it all weekend. Get that third shot, that fourth shot, that fifth shot in there. If they can get a couple of those goals, I think it's going to be a good sign for their progression and their future prospects as an organization.
All right, well, they're going to still be looking for their first goal come the second game, unless they can do something while the ball's up in the air. They won't. MCN, the Nuts team, take game number one in this quarterfinal action. And after it was a slow start, a slow build. It took a long time for the first goal, but then the second one following very quick. So Espionage not taking the early game against May Contain Nuts.
Yeah, double the number of shots coming out from May Contain Nuts. Not a massive number of shots there, either 6 shots for them, couple of saves on their side, actually equal number of saves for both these sides. So not a big focus on the out-and-out offensive plays from May Contain Nuts, and I think they're going to be happy with that. They know that they don't need to try and push 14 shots in to try and make something count. They can just wait their moments, try something. If it doesn't work, they rotate back very casually and try on the next time, because they know eventually that one of the two of their shots are going to find the back of the net.
And they are an aggressive team. High number of demos, Espionage last night. And that is very effective, but there are teams, and I do think May Contain Nuts is one of them, who they understand the demo game and how to counter it, how to move out the way and turn that aggression into counter attacks or aggressive plays of their own.
Yeah, 100% is having that ability to just know what your opponents are trying to do. Know what their strengths is what the best part about such experienced players comes out from May Contain Nuts. Oh, we're recognizing that they constantly want to go for demos. Just be aware of that and get yourself out of position. They've got the mechanical skill that even if there's a little bit of a disruption play, you know, they jump at an awkward time, they can still get up to a ball going for the corners. They'll jump, go to the sides, and still make the save in one fluid motion. It's lovely. Being able to see what Espionage can do, and if they only really have that one trick in the bag, is going to be the real deciding factor for them. And I mean, May Contain Nuts has a lot that they can defend against. What is their weakness, though, is what is up to Espionage to try and find out.
All right, well, here they are at the beginning of their march towards some kind of counter, try and level up the series. They don't want to get too far behind. Once you get 2 games behind, it becomes very difficult. Snowy going to open the scoring, and it took all of 23 seconds in game 2. It took a long time, game 1, this time not. But look at the patience of Tadaipo, Ultrazim, waiting to take that pass.
Oh, it's just very casual. And that was the thing, is that was not an easy pass to read from the corner there. And just realizing this bounce is going to do something weird. Snowy doing the best attempt there. But when it comes towards the center, no one wants to get up from the orange side. Now I'm going to take the shot. Never committing too early, because you realize that it's not that shot. That one shot is not going to be the only attempt that you're going to have wait for a better one is a perfectly viable strategy. Now all 3 players here from Espionage stuck on that side wall, and they've got to do some work to get back towards the center. Oh no.
All right, well, this is getting awkward for them. Getting pinned back for a moment and sort of rushing the play there to get it out while MCN continue to build their pressure. And what I love about this team, the Nuts team, is their willingness to have all 3 players deep in that final third, completely confident in their ability to recover, get back when and if they need to. And it just does so well to build, to suffocate your opposition.
You know, that's what I said was like missing in the first half of that first game, was that they didn't want to throw everyone that high because they wanted to see what their opponents could do. They wanted to test to see how potent that counter-attack was here from Espionage. Now they seem to have a good handle on it, and they can go, okay, this is the limits we can get away with. We're going to sit right up in your goal line. We're not going to let that ball get past the halfway, and then we're just going to hit you hard and time again. Relentless attack. That is such a prevalent feature here for making their Nuts.
To Die For looks at Darth, and it makes its way to Snowy. To Die For has been bumped off the ball. He was trying to keep up the pressure. He's going to have to track back. Team Espionage moving forward en masse, trying to make something happen. Oh, boy, an Olympic. I'm not sure if they're miscommunicated. Both going for the same ball. It's opened them up a little bit at the back. Boy, will clear away, but dangerous times. And as long as they keep it in one, there might be a mistake here. Oh, what a save! Darth gets back. It's not over yet. Siphon will find the net and level up the game.
Man, Darth as well here, and he actually should have been able to make a better save than that. I think he's going to be frustrated. I'm not saying that he's a bad player. Please don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I could make a better save than that. Let's be fair. But I think Darth is going to be frustrated. He just didn't manage to slide it down to that corner. Pops out back towards the center. And it does mean Team Espionage on a good counter-attack, maybe making Nuts just question that limits that we were talking about, how much they can get away with. Boy, had the opportunity there to try and find Balam, but this time it's going to have to stick at just 1 goal apiece. Olympic, though, creating some nice opportunities, sending it high, and giving Darfor something to think about.
All right, well, I see you're calling Lord Balam. I'm calling him Siphon. We'll hope to get clarity on who that actually is.
It says Balam in my game.
Oh, really? On mine it says Laura 6. Okay, fine. I've got a completely different name. Well, that's fun and games. All right, well, Balam it is then.
Rocket League. I didn't even know that was possible.
Oh.
What is possible, though, is Darth being able to pick it up from very high in the air. Look at the patience from Snowy to just shadow that the whole way, force someone into a double commit, wins the 50 by staying still, pops it up into the air, and Darth picks it up very quickly. So MCN back where they want to be, 1 goal lead now with 2 minutes left.
Well, a bit of trivia that actually doesn't mean anything and is completely unimportant is that Darth has used that same goal explosion. He used it all the way through the last season and has brought it into this one. So it's either a favorite or he just picked it randomly one day and has never bothered to change it. Either way, we've seen it a lot of times with Darth, and we see it again here. He's got his team 2 goals in front. Boy, trying to make something happen. But it is going to go wide, and it should get cleared away. Snowy's got an open net. If he's quick enough, doesn't get it on target or hard enough to be a serious threat, and it stays a 1-goal game.
I think you've given me my new interview question for Darth next time I see him, is what is so special? Because you mentioned that Snowy doesn't normally use very many cosmetics. The whole of this MCN line, kind of like that clean look, and the fact that these players pick one thing in particular, it's always interesting. MCN now looking to try and mount a bit more of an offensive attack. Still nothing out of this, but this could be it. To Die For takes a shot. Olympic up to the task.
And it was a cracker, but To Die For would have wanted to get better timing on it to find, to blast its way past. What's happening now? Snowy, the net's open. Olympic is there. Will get the clear off the backboard. And it is a 1-goal game, but time running out for Team Espionage. And from the moment it's 2 games behind, it starts to get very sweaty. It becomes a massively uphill battle. I mean, going two games behind MCN is like 3 games with any other team.
Yeah, to Die For unable to find that angle. Looking to pinch it in there, trying some creativity. You can see the confidence that this MCN lineup is working with right now, going for cheeky plays. so far. Ballum now not able to clear it out that far. And like you say, it is going to be a 2-goal game. No one able to keep this up right now. In fact, MCN, oh, okay, just a little bit of a bump there. I'm pretty sure they would have liked to try even a little bit more there. So Darth, to die for, Snowy, all of them coming to the party. 6 demos coming out there. I think that was Darth on the side that had that 6 demos, 4 saves for him. So 7 in total, in fact, from May Contain Nuts is an interesting stat there, with Team Espionage putting on just short of the number of shots that May Contain Nuts. They're trying to find their own spaces into this game. Graybeard, you with me? Yeah. Okay, it seems like Graybeard has completely lost connection. So it has just clicked over to 8 p.m. It has been a power shut. Good old load shedding for units going down today. It means that you've just got me for the next little bit. We're going to be getting into the next game in no time. I'm sure Graybeard, he is back. He's got all the things that he needs to be back into this game. Game is going to continue now. Olympic hasn't readied up just yet, but I assume he's still in the game. Just waiting to see if that happens. We'll let you know, but thankfully it seems like all the players still in here, joining back into the lobby. Interestingly enough, I'm the only one whose game says Ballum, so I don't have him as a friend or anything like that. We're gonna take it that it is Ballum. Still says Law 6 even for our admins, our referees. So we're going to take it that it is Ballum. Everyone, though, back into the game now. Game number 3 here between May Contain Nuts and Team Espionage. Team Espionage down 2 games to 0. They were still looking to pick up their 1. Certainly not expecting to have taken this as a lot of confidence, but would certainly like to create some sort of waves here for this May Contain Nuts lineup. A nice pass towards the center to die for, getting a lovely pinch down to the other side. Or redirect opportunity tests Darth, and even with him backwards on that backboard, it still seems to be an easy play, and chasing it down to the other side of the field, inches away from Ballum's nose. Darth able to pick up the first goal, getting a good save there, and just an extra touch of speed. Even pushes aside Snowy and says, no, I deserve this goal. It is mine. Picks it up, and it took 23 seconds last time, 33 seconds in this game. A really nice start here. MCN off to exactly what they would like to be. To die for, looking for even more now. Snowy having to be content to watching that go up and over the goal line. Lovely. You missed 1 goal. MCN is there, up 1 already. Yep.
Will be disappointed if they don't take 1, maybe 2 games off this Nuts team.
Because that's the thing, right? Is every goal that you... That was a power shot from To Die For. Sorry, we'll get back to that point, but this was a power shot. By definition, just picking it up as it comes up there, clangs off that backboard. Darth doing a good job to read that and slot it back in after it turned into a pass. But, a little bit of power. And like you say, I think that if Espionage doesn't manage to pick up a game, or certainly not at least a couple more goals in the series, they're going to be disappointed, because it means that they've got almost no answer towards the May Contain Nuts, towards that top echelon of SSA players. They want to know that they're not that far behind, that it's just a matter of distance of how much they need to improve, rather than this insurmountable titan that people are expecting the May Contain Nuts lineup to be.
The human condition is perfectly set up for struggle and disappointment. If you'd said to Espionage, you're going to be a top 8 team in the first regional, they would have grabbed that, said we're happy. They've done that job. So, and they were really happy last night, but they lose here, they don't take a game. You're immediately disappointed, because that is our nature. We want to go better than we thought we could before. Oh my word. That was really, really close to a 3rd goal for May Contain Nuts. Espionage still in it, but the struggle becoming more and more as time goes on.
100%, because now you always got to set that next goal for your team, for yourselves, right? Is what do I want to accomplish? And going, okay, we took a game off Make It Tay Nuts this time. Next time we want to take 2. That's a really nice place to be in. To go from, okay, we got top 8. Next time we want to make an impact into Make It Tay Nuts. It's a very different mind game that they don't want to be stuck in. And certainly a very good team that I would love to see them be able to set those high goals for themselves. And maybe they'll just push someone like Make It Tay Nuts, who doesn't really have a lot to grind for right now. They are the favorites for this. They haven't really been tested all that much in the Swiss stages. And until tomorrow, it doesn't look like they're going to be tested again today.
All right, well, here we go. A minute 45. A minute 45 for Team Espionage to find something, find anything, and keep themselves in it. But it is getting tougher and tougher because, you know, we see this with this team all the time. The longer it goes, the more they get into their rhythm, particularly if things go well for them. They've won the first 2 games, looking good in the third, and then it just becomes a deep groove that they're happy just to run out.
Yeah. You want the opportunity to have to flex some of these more mechanically testing movements, these mechanics. You know, I want to see Make It Tay Nuts trying to go for those must-see flicks, trying to go for the backboard reads over and over, not just the straight shots. You know, yeah, you can get away with doing the straight shots, but in this sort of game, in the high-pressure situations, you need to be comfortable being able to do those, because eventually there are going to be teams that's going to be the deciding factor. And having the burst ability to pull it off time and time again under those pressure situations is what's going to mean they're going to be able to do it. So far, not really being tested up to that point where they have to come up with some sort of creativity. Ooh, big opportunity there at the back line there for Team Espionage to try to find it. Unfortunately, Boy unable to find the clear open net.
Well, to your point, it's kind of like, you know what, might as well throw everything at it. Nothing to lose here. We know this is where we're going. Let's see what we can do, but my word, what a cracker from Snowy to make it 17 seconds from time. The bump there, removing the play, the pass in field, and 100-kilometer-an-hour banger.
That 100 kilometers was the standout point to me there. The pass towards the center was nothing truly exceptional there, but the power that they're able to generate off a slow-moving ball is impressive. It just shows how well this team is hitting the ball when they get to it. Every time they touch it, it's with precision, it's with intent, and it's with aplomb, being able to keep out this clean sheet share in game number 3. Make It Tay Nuts just 1 game away from that semifinal spot.
Yeah, and they're more than likely to take it. I mean, Jota and I were talking odds earlier on an upset of an earlier thing, and I think a reverse sweep by Espionage here would get you enough odds that you would not have to work again in your life.
Please show me the betting side where I can put 1 rand down on that right now, because if that happens, I am set. I can then do casting full time. I'm coming with you guys to Rotterdam at that stage. Certainly not what is expected by anyone, but not what we expect either. Not what we want to see. Not what we're looking for. It would be nice for Team Espionage, especially with Make It Tay Nuts, maybe just holding back, running around in third gear. It would be nice to see Team Espionage going, hey, listen, you can't treat us with that much disrespect. We still need you to take up a little bit more if you want to knock us out of this competition. We still have a little bit of fights to go here. Olympic, get out of Twitch chats. You are supposed to be playing this game. They are in the middle of a timeout right now, but this is maybe the humor that this Team Espionage side is throwing up right now. The fact that they can sit here and go, yeah, we know what is expected anyway.
All right, I think there might be a timeout. Yeah, Espionage have taken a timeout, so they're going to have a think, and hopefully Olympic will not be in Twitch chat and focusing on what the game what he should be doing here and in game. I would like to see them take a game, but it does concern me that he's a little distracted there. They should be. This is 100% focused. They just finished a game where Make It Tay Nuts pulled off 16 shots. 16 shots in 5 minutes. You see that sort of shot count in an overtime, in a 3 or 4 minute overtime. They did it within 5 minutes with a responding 3-shot count from Espionage. So that gives us a sense of what separates these teams right now. So Yeah, it's tough work for Espionage, and they may have taken a game off them in qualifiers and made it close, but this Nuts team, they're here to get a job done, and clearly very serious about it right now.
Yeah. No, that 16 shots is worrying. No matter what the final scoreline is, yeah, it was only 3-0 at the end there. If you're letting another team control the game so much that you're getting to 16 shots against you, it means you're not getting the chance to attack their goals at all, really. I mean, you say there was, 3 shots? That's not enough. And I would like to see a big revitalization from the back line now. Learn how to clear that out, because if you're ever going to compete with teams like this, teams like Orlando Pirates, Millennial Times Gaming, who are already starting to streak ahead in this region, you need to be able to wrestle the tempo back into your hands, even just for a little time. Be able to learn how to deal with that pressure that our SSA region is so well known for.
All right, 30 seconds in. The best news for Espionage is they have not conceded an early goal, so they can fight and try and make something happen. But this has got to be the game, and I think you said it very well. Where it's, you know what, get out there, see what you can do, pick up the pace, and just push yourselves harder than you've pushed yourself throughout the weekend. See if you can find a weakness in this Nuts team by doing so. And I think there's good lessons to learn there the next time you come across them.
Yeah, 100%. You learn a lot from defeats, but you also learn a hell of a lot from getting it right. When you know what it's supposed to feel like, or what you're supposed to be able to do to get it in there, it's a really good feeling. And then you just try and replicate that a couple more times. And so far, we haven't really seen. I mean, there was the one goal that did come out there. It was a very nice goal, but little double commits like that, unacceptable when you're trying to play against the best. You're not trying to win against the best, but you are trying to still test them to whatever way you can there. Olympic missing boost in the center there, now going to be stalling out on the side. And it just, little things like that, missing boost pads, going for double commits, it's not a good sign, and it's not what you should be playing the Rocket League at the highest level.
And you know what, and also, I mean, it's hard to be, oh my goodness gracious, Garth, with that long-standing goal explosion, banging it past there, the defender in goal, boy, saw it coming, but 112, I mean, geez, you have got to have the reflexes of craziness to get up in time to get that save.
It wasn't very far away there. The placement wasn't perfect, and so yeah, it's just a pace issue. Maybe a little bit of proficiency, and having been a goalkeeper in pretty much every game, okay, to die for, managing to find this one into the back of the net. You've got to get used to saving even the hardest shots. It's difficult. Double commit on the wall again, and then Ballum and Olympic left scrambling off the back line there. There's not this solid defense. There's not a stalwart back line or good rotations there that's giving Espionage that opportunity to not just save the shot, but save the shot in such a way that you can take control of it for at least a couple of seconds.
You know, there's a point that's kind of brewing in my head. You know, one of the things you're taught very early on when you're at school, if you're playing football, is never give up on a goal. Never assume a goal's going to be scored. Run back, get back to try and defend, because you never know what's going to happen. And that philosophy, that thinking extends out to so many aspects of the game.
No.
Garth is going to get a second, and now Nuts running away with it here. Ballum.
3 orange players in the sidelines, though. Like,
my word. Yeah. No, well, probably to my point there, extending it out, you know, they're sort of playing right now like, okay, it's all over. They should be using this as an opportunity to get what they should be running at this game like their lives depends on it. You know, this is what teams like Orlando Pirates and Nuts, everything is urgent, important. Get back now. Fight like it's the World Cup final every time.
And that's how you learn, right? That's how you get better and better. Obviously, goals like this, very difficult to defend against. That waterfall aspect coming through the back there. Dark just managing to find that angle there, and Tadaifor doing a good job. Boy attempting for it. But you're right. There's not the urgency. There's not the... Even if you're just treating this as a scrim, this isn't for the prize money. This isn't for the progress to the semifinals. This should just be a scrim now. And play it like a scrim. Play it with vehemence. Play it as I want to learn anything I can. This is my best opportunity to get better as a player. and do whatever it takes to try learn from that, rather than just we're playing for fun. Keep that fun aspect, keep that mentality, but still learn something. Fight.
And we see, by contrast, May Contain Nuts, they're playing with urgency. They're playing like this is game one. It's an important game, and be urgent. It just builds that muscle memory, that mental muscle memory, where you always have a sense of urgency, where you're always just wanting to be the best possible team you can be. Then we see it there with that Snowy getting up there for the block, the intercept, and now a possible counter attack. They don't just want to win here, they want to make a point, and they're making that point pretty solidly with their 5th goal and 1:13 remaining.
Yeah, we came into this saying that one of the goals here for May Contain Nuts is that they want to show that they're sitting leagues above everyone else. And this game has been doing that, taking advantage, getting some great plays in there, going with that tenacity into every shot, into every play, going for those big 50-50s, getting their rotations out and playing every one of these movements as if it is a big game day, like you say. And a really nice flick coming out there from Sudafo, forced it towards the center. Oh, the demo Olympic showing that there's still a bit of spunk left in this Espionage side. Now going for the flick to try and come out there, pops towards the center. Unfortunately, only as far as to die for.
This is going to be a shutout. Game 4 may well be a shutout. Espionage not being able to find the net at all in this game 4. And at this point, the Nuts team, MCN, they're just cruising along here. Olympic getting a nice little touch down and off the crossbar, though. Not getting the one goal they're looking for here as we get into sub 30 seconds, the dying moments of the last game of Game 2 in the Fall Open for SSA.
Man, stuff like that Olympic shot was actually the best thing that I've seen from them so far. That's what I wanted to see this entire way, is even if you're being denied those goals, that is a testing goal, and that was very nearly out of the hands of May Contain Nuts to try and make something happen. He has a nice attempt coming through there. Boy finds it high. It's going to go up to die for, shuts out Balam's opportunity there. But eventually it touches down. May Contain Nuts in a very comprehensive sweep managed to take this, looking strong and keeping up their pretty much undefeated streak going up into that semifinals.
So, Ultrazim, we had 4 best-of-7 semi-finals today. Beg your pardon, quarterfinals. So that's a potential 28 games. We saw 17 of them. Is that right? 17 of those. So when you look, earlier on, I made the sort of analogy of SSA being a bit of a layer cake. You got your icing teams, which may contain Nuts, Orlando Pirates sitting up at the top, and then a very thick middle section with a lot going on, and then your bottom teams. And given the results today, we didn't have, White Rabbit Gaming Millennial Times was the best game of the day in terms of entertainment, in terms of how close it was. But we're seeing that separation, the fact that it wasn't closely fought all the way through. Our top 4 teams kind of separating themselves from the rest of who's out there.
Very much so, and it's surprising considering I did expect some of those series to be a lot closer, at least in terms of final scores. Something like the Reformed ATK game was never supposed to be a 4-0 sweep. In the Swiss stages, ATK actually beat Reformed 3-0. So for it to turn so pivotally like that to the other way around is a big upset. Not necessarily an upset, but certainly not the clean-cut game that we thought. Millennial Times, White Rabbits, a very deceptive scoreline there of 4-1. But at the end of the day, it was a close game, which was nice to see. So you can see there's still a couple of people lingering around that. But top 4, top 5, top 6 is pretty much as deep as we're starting to see this thing going. And we weren't sure how deep this went. Did it go to top 8, all being within contention there? Right now, these top 4 teams, probably the most deserving teams to be there. And I think tomorrow's game setting up to be quite a clash.
Well, we have our first regional top 4. You saw it just on the screen there. May Contain Nuts, Millennial Times Gaming, Orlando Pirates, and Reformed. Our 42 teams went into the qualifiers just over a week ago, and these are the 4 that remain standing. And so we had some questions answered in terms of, given the results here, these have been the best 4 teams. How closely fought is it going to be? Is it going to be 2 swept semifinals? Will Pirates come out and sweep Reform to get into the finals? Will May Contain Nuts sweep Millennial Times Gaming? Or was there going to be some fight? Is the gap between those top two any closer than it was last season? And I don't know. Millennial Times, do they have the makings of actually threatening May Contain Nuts?
You know what? I think if any team had that ability to cause that upset, it would be Millennial Times. We've seen them grow from strength to strength. Every opposition that they've gone up against, they have managed to rally and push themselves further than they ever have before. And so I think that tomorrow is going to be a very exciting game for them. I think that it's still going to be May Contain Nuts' favorite. I would say probably Millennial Times taking 2 games there would be a really nice showing for them. Anything more than that, and it's becoming a very, very exciting top 3. And then I would love to see Millennial Times versus Orlando Pirates being who I consider the second best team. So what do you think? Do you believe in Millennial Times to come up and shut that down as much as I expect them to?
Listen, they've been a surprise all the way through. I'd seen them in the qualifiers. I was like, ooh, this is interesting. This is a scary looking team. And then their performance here. So, you know what? I don't want to just, scoff and chuck them out immediately. I would love to see a proper showing, a proper threat from them. So have they got what it takes to overcome? I don't think so, but man, would I love to see a close contest between those two.
Yeah.
But then on the bottom of the bracket, Pirates had a couple of tough games last night. I mean, they came through, but 2 best-of-5 series. They were behind 2 Millennial Times Gaming at one point, almost going out. I think Espionage, it was crazy stuff. So they made heavy weather of it. So I don't know. Reformed, maybe?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? Is Orlando Pirates came back from 2-1 down against both Millennial Times and ATK. And from there, that's why we were thinking, I mean, who is actually sitting at that 2nd, 3rd, 4th position? Because Orlando Pirates, we came into this thinking, yeah, this is the old Bravado squad now with Elia Kim, still a very proficient player, and has been doing fantastically in that new roster. Orlando Pirates should still be a fantastically strong roster. Today we saw a different Reformed squad. Reformed has had their ups and downs. They previously went down 3-0. They previously lost to Millennial Times Gaming. And so what team they bring in tomorrow is going to determine a lot of this. I think we can be guaranteed that Orlando Pirates is going to be coming in with a very strong roster. It's up to Reform to see if they can take it. I would still give the edge a little bit to Orlando Pirates with that longer-term experience, with that international experience, and with that brand name behind them that they're going, we are sitting here trying to make ourselves at least 2nd position, if not challenging that May Contain Nuts side. And I think that Orlando Pirates would be devastated if they didn't get the chance to challenge and May Contain Nuts for that final slot. But Reforms, I give them that they could take a challenge. I think that they could. I certainly wouldn't put my 1 rand now on the impossible upset. But Reformed, it's going to be up to you guys to see how well you show up on the day.
Well, it would be an upset if Pirates or May Contain Nuts don't find themselves in the final. I do think if there is to be an upset, it's probably more likely with Pirates and Reformed. Yep. But that's a massive if. But we will find out tomorrow. That brings us to the end. You know what? Time is terrible. It always goes so quickly. We've waited so long for the start of our next season. Here it is. We're almost at the end. We're about to approach day 3, Championship Sunday. Only 3 best-of-7s remain to crown our first regional champion. Once again, big up and shout out to ACGL for being here, for broadcasting this. The guys in the back, Reverse, Blank, Rafiki, doing a fantastic job. And then, of course, our on-screen talent today, Pyro, Jota, Ultrism. And we're gonna bring it to you tomorrow, and we will crown our first regional champion. But in the meantime, from myself, Greybeard, and Ultrism, we are a wrap. Peace!